Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Supercup. This time we're here at Silverstone, and I'm Kacper Kołodziejczyk, and I'll be taking you for the first time this season through commentary, and alongside with me will be Ben Willis.
Hello Kacper, hello everybody at home. Welcome to the GPVWC Supercup, brought to you by Simnews.tv today for the first time, and should be a really good event. We've had some really close races over the last few rounds, plenty of people fighting for the title, and we've only just sort of reached the halfway mark of the season, so it should be a really good event today.
Yes, no, it should be fantastic, and this championship is actually very, very close with the top two in the championship currently, and really more than just the top two, being very, very close on points. And this race could actually see lead change, or these two races, in fact, in this entire weekend, because we have a bit of a story that I think we may come to later, but at the moment we're just about to start qualifying, which could be quite crucial for the first race.
Exactly, cars just leaving the pit lane now here at Silverstone, of course. One of the most famous tracks on the calendar, full of history. 3.66 mile layouts, we've got 18 corners here. Should be a really good one. I've been sort of keeping my eye on the practice times, and there's been plenty of people at the front. Likes of Tobias Politek's always up there, Alex Siebel, Chris Shepherd, who has moved from being an Epic reserve driver. He's in at Hints Racing for this one, and he's been showing some really good pace. Watch out for Stefan Ruat as well. Been looking really sharp over the few practice sessions we had preceding to that. But as everybody starts heading out the track, let's see what their first few laps show us.
Yes, and definitely, and we of course will have to wait until the very end for all the final results. But at the same time, it's nice to be back to commenting on Supercup, and this is, of course, a series where we have cars of all of the same spec, and we may go through exactly what type of car it is later on during warm-up before we do the race. But in fact, these are not slow machines, are they?
No, they're extremely quick. Very light cars as well, and heavily aero-dependent. I took one of them for a few laps earlier this morning whilst I was helping out my team that I manage in this, and they're really, really crazy things to drive. Just because they're so light, so quick, you can really chuck them into corners and feel the wings providing all the downforce on them. And it makes some great racing as well. Being a spec series, it's heavily down to the driver and the limited setup changes they have. And of course, Supercup, we have two races. We have a feature race for our first one, which today is 30 laps. That involves a pit stop because we have two tyre compounds. We have a soft and a hard tyre. And the second race is our sprint race. That's 17 laps, so a little shorter, and you don't have to make a pit stop there. So the first one's always really good. We get a bit of strategy involved, and the second race is pure. You just go out there and drive as fast as you can. So should be interesting to see what we get.
Yes, it should be absolutely fantastic, and of course this is it's not unique with that two-race format. We also have done Formula Challenge, which we had yesterday. Yep. But again, these cars are quite a bit different, and our drivers are on their first time lap. Pretty much everybody came out at the same time, so we do get a little bit of we did have a bit of a hold up as people prepared and tried to get enough space. But with people so close, we may get some trains going, and we may get some people to have to abandon their laps because of traffic.
That's true. It may also help here though for slipstream. We have two massive straights here at Silverstone, Hanger Straight and Wellington, where the slipstream from a car ahead will give you more top speed and could actually help that lap as long as it doesn't compromise you into further corners. I'm just noticing on the live timing actually we have two cars out there who are not on the soft tyres for qualifying. And that's Matt Strand in the Satellite Racing car and Edward Vitala for Racing Team Stroton. And that means they will have to race on that tyre as their first tyre. So both of those guys will be starting on the harder compound. Meanwhile, we've just got our first times coming through. Chris Shepherd is currently at the top with a 1:37.1, only to be just beaten there by Stefan Ruat on a 36.6.
Now, those are really, really good times, and from what we've seen, 1:36.5, I think this was the best we've seen so far from Stefan Ruat. And these are very, very fast times. And just to get back to the tires, we have discussed the tires in our about Super League at
Our
Sim
day
News.
job.
At our day job in Sim News, and and we have discussed how this track is indeed a very, very heavy track on the tires in terms of it can cause overheating issues. But I think it's the same idea as we're going to be seeing tomorrow as well. The hard tires, the soft tires may overheat through the corners on a single lap, but it's not enough to slow them down enough for the hards to be quick enough. Because as we can see at the moment, 1:39.5 is the quickest time on the hard tire, and currently the slowest time on the soft tire is 1:38.5. So that gives you a bit of an idea. But on the other hand, in the race, they may last a lot longer because going through Maggots and Beckett's on soft tires is extraordinarily hard on the tires and the tire wear.
Yeah, the nice thing about the soft tyres in Supercup is they're a little more progressive than our Super League counterparts. They hold their life for a little longer, so you can get some decent quick times out of them for a little longer. But when they do go off, they are pretty poor. So expect those soft runners will be coming in around the lap 13-14 mark, I'd say, and then doing the rest on mediums. We may see a few stretch it a little longer, and that's the advantage of starting on the mediums. You can get through all the traffic, go a little longer on your first stint, and then end on a really quick soft tyre. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Fournier for Epic Racing has just jumped up to P5. He currently holds the fastest third sector, actually, with a 26.9 through that sector 1. But it's still Roux out at the top on that 36.6. We know he can go a little faster, so interested to see if he will.
Yeah, so there's something very interesting. Here we can start getting into the championship standings a little bit, and maybe a bit of theorizing before we even get to the race. So Jason Muscat, who's currently our leader, is in 8th place, and he has a little bit of a problem in terms of what he'll have to do this race, because he indeed has a back of the grid penalty.
Yes, he has a back of the grid, and that was for cutting the track back at Canada. Here at GPV, we do have a rule where you're allowed up to 2 full tyre contact patches over the white line at the edge of the track. If you have a third full tyre over, it's deemed as exceeding track limits, and you'll get back of the grid, which I know Jason Muscat has. Who else has them, Kacper? I assume you have the penalty list in front of you.
I actually may have closed.
Oh dear, it's right, I've got it up. We have Mike Quint has a track limits penalty, so does Matt Strand, who is one of the medium tyre runners, so maybe explains his strategy there. We also have Erhan Yoyoski, who hasn't turned up, so don't expect him around. He would be at Satellite if he does show up. And of course Muscat there as well. Quint also has a 5-place further demotion for a bit of contact in race 1 at Canada. And Edward Batala has a 10-place penalty also for contact. So that will, of course, factor into our grid when we go to race. For now, based on pure times, though, still Roux out in the lead, and he's just coming out the pits for his second run on a set of softs.
Now, with that said, what I was about to kind of continue onto is Jason Muscat is here, but he's starting from the back of the grid. So he'll have to do an amazing job to get into the, well, maybe not into the points per se, but get into the high scoring points. On the other hand, his closest contender, Geoffrey Fournier, is 5th in quali, and he does not indeed have a penalty. But also Alex Siebel, who's only in a further 11 points behind Fournier, is currently in 2nd place. Now, is that enough to possibly challenge, maybe not for the lead of the championship, but possibly for a very close battle going for the championship lead in the second race?
I think it could be enough to definitely challenge there. I've just had our amazing cameraman, Mr. David Fidett, just tell us in our ear. Dennis Jordan has a purple Sector 1 on a 26.9, and it's a personal best second as well on a 41.6, so we'll have to keep an eye on him.
That's very fast in comparison to some of the other drivers I'm saying, so it is very possible if he keeps going on the final sector.
That's a good time. Sorry, he's just crossed the line on a 36.7, so he jumps up to P2.
By 0.003 of a second in front of Alex Siebel, in fact. It's very, very close up in the front.
Yeah, really fast time. Going back to your point, though, you are right. This will create a brilliant little mini episode of our title fight, shall we say, for race 2. I guess for Jason Muscat, it's all damage limitation in this first race. If he's going to be at the back, okay, it's a smaller field than usual. We have points down to P15 and we have 21 cars here. So it shouldn't be too hard for Muscat, who's a fast driver, to get up into the points. But it's just going to be damage limitation, really. If he plays a strategy right, he could be up a lot higher. So we'll see how that one goes. Meanwhile, though, must have been talking. Alex Siebel has just jumped to the top of the timing sheets with a 36.4. So that's the fastest we've seen all night, really.
That's an incredible time.
Yeah, brilliant lap there from the Multiforce GP driver.
He actually only had the purple sector in the final sector.
Yeah, so there's time to find there. This next lap he's going a bit slower though, at 28.0 in that first sector. So he won't be improving this lap, I doubt. But nevertheless, really good lap there.
Yes, also for, and I presume a lot of us actually watching here do watch GPVWC regularly, but we also have a rule where we do have to make our way back to the pits before we go out for another run. We cannot just escape off of a track. So that's sometimes you may see drivers do very slow laps, and that's just because they're coming back into pits, like as if they would in real life.
That's indeed what Dennis Jordan has just done. He's just shot straight into the pits on the exit of Stoke Corner there. Wesley Stefano's also in the pits, as well as Matt Strand. So they will be, well, they got 4 and just over 4.5 minutes, so plenty of time for another couple of laps.
Just to let you know, Jeffrey Fournier has done not his best time in the first sector, but still fairly very quick. And then a purple sector in the middle sector. So Jeffrey Fournier, one to watch at this very moment. And he goes
he's just
second.
Jumped up to P2. Yeah, brilliant lap there. So that's a purple second and a green third sector. So green meaning it's a personal best, purple meaning it's a session best. So there's still a bit of time there. He's very close to pole, which is still Stefan Ruaut. What's that? 1300ths of a second in it, so really close.
Incredibly close, and actually the top 3 drivers, because we didn't even mention Ruault really because he jumped Siebel. We actually have top 3 drivers within 34 thousandths of a second.
That's totally true, actually. I read it out and totally didn't realise that Ruault has just jumped to the top on a 36.426, so that's, again, fastest time of the night. We're going to expect to see faster times towards the end of the session. Of course, with it being R-Factor 2, the track's constantly rubbering in, getting warmer on the racing line. The track's just evolving and getting faster. So at the next 3.5 minutes, we should see a good flurry of times, hopefully.
Now what this actually signifies, this battle for championship is going to be, or for the championship to lead this race, seems to be brewing so well.
Oh, definitely. Jason Muscat now P5. It's a really good effort. Okay, he's got a back of the grid, but that's still a good effort on paper in terms of pure pace. Boya Milan is one we haven't mentioned, actually. P4 for TG Racing, car 69. Solid lap there on a 36.7. Really good. Dennis Jordan there, P6 now. Dewey Tapper for Zederick, P7 with a 36.9. Another good time there.
Yeah, there are a lot of very close times, and honestly, the top 9. Well, actually, to be honest, they're all. You see that the times are so close everywhere, essentially, that it's hard to fit anywhere in between, and a small improvement can lead to a lot of places being gained.
I tell you what, that's all right, Mr. Cameraman, who's just whispered in our ear that Boya Milan, who I was just about to mention, actually, purple sector 1. He's up on pole with a 26.8. He's just come across the second split onto the hanger straight for a 41.5. That's a personal best. It could be a pole lap.
This could indeed be a pole lap or provision pole.
He's gone wide out of stone, crossed the line, and that's going to be a invalidated time. He backs off, coming into Club and Vale there. That's a bit of a shame because it was a really good lap.
And he's going for another one, so he's not actually pitting in for a new set of tires.
He's only got time for one more. Well, 2 if he pushes it, if he has the fuel.
Yeah, but then again, at that point, I think his tires will be cooked.
That's very true, actually. Well, we're going to see he's coming into turn 3 now. A little bit of a lock-up into 4 through the loop. Nice, clips the apex. Now onto the Wellington straight. Let's see. Yeah, it may have done, but we shall see as he comes into the DRS zone and see what he comes across the first sector.
A driver that's improving also is in 17th place, Jared Battaglia. At the moment, he's on his personal best lap. Nothing too major, but he is improving.
Yep. Milan came across with a 27.0, so nothing special, not a personal best either. Meanwhile, I've just noticed on our YouTube comments over on the Sim News page, we are streaming to two YouTube pages today, the GPV one and Sim News. Over on the Sim News one, Dewey Tapper has just messaged to say he ran out of fuel in qualifying, hence why his P8s are not improving and in the garage, which is not the best.
So just as we mentioned, you have to get back into the garage to come back on track. So that's unlucky for Dewey, but you know, that's on the driver's jobs, and I should know that very well because I have had that happen to me nearly in a 12-hour race.
Not always the best, is it?
No, I had to make half a lap, or I had to make about 1/10 of a lap of fuel last me about 2/3 of a lap, and it did. Oh, apparently we have Stefan Ruold on an improving lap through Sector 1.
Let's keep an eye on that. Tobias Polosek is also improving. Personal best Sector 1, that's P10 there. Who else did I spot? Dino Paolini has jumped up to 4th as the checkered flag is out, so everyone on their lap now is able to finish their lap.
I just see in the comments, yes, it is very, very close indeed, coming from Delta Racing Team. Also, pity James Johnson will not race tonight. Yes, James Johnson is very quick, and I would love to see him. I haven't actually been following too much on his pace, but I always know that he is a very, very quick driver. So, pity, but we have quite a few very fast drivers here anyway.
I'll tell you what, Rual isn't going to improve, I don't feel. He had a very messy Maggots and Beckett section. The rear just seemed to be losing all grip on him. There's a bit of a drift going on as he comes across the line now. I don't think it's going to be improvement, but he's going to hold on to pole with 36.4, and doesn't look like anybody's going to challenge him. Tobias Polossek's just come across the line and gone P8, so nothing there. There's a few others on laps. Mike Quint down in P16, Rob Mason P17.
Jeffrey Fournier would have to make 0.2 of a second up in the final sector, which he's not going to do. He already locked up.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Fournier across the line. It's just coming across now, and that won't be an improvement. So he holds P2. Stefan Ruold with the pole then.
Well, that's very impressive from Ruold, but I think the happiest man on here at the moment will be Fournier with his chances for possibly attempting for having a chance at the lead of the championship being reinforced. And considering he is currently second in the championship, he will be very, very happy to have that possible jump on Alex and Jason. If he can finish, I think, second or first. If he finishes first, he's definitely guaranteed to be leading this championship.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, great session from out there, great lap. Fastest we've seen all evening. Really good performance. Fournier there with P2, great for the title hunts. Brilliant performance there. And again, Siebel P3, Paolini P4. It's sort of as we expected at the top, really. All the fast guys up there. I tell you what, little disappointing from Tom van der Voort and Antonio Hrelovic for the Drake guys. Would have hoped to see them a bit further up. They're down in 12th and 13th, respectively. Also, Chris Shepherd didn't seem to get a decent lap in on a 36.9. I'm pretty sure we saw him faster in practice. He's down in P10 for hints, so...
I'm not sure if we actually seen him faster. We have seen him on low 37s at the very least, but I'm not. But what is kind of disappointing is one of our race winners from last time around, Tobias Polosek, is only 8th.
That's very true. But then if you look at the times, actually, I've just sort of looking through it again. Between 1st and 16th is 1 second. Which, when you look at it that way, that's pretty good going for the grid. That's going to make it really competitive going into the race. Yeah, nice and close.
Yeah, and between the 1st and the 10th, we have 0.556 of a second. So, I mean, that is a close qualifying I've ever seen one.
Yeah, nice and close. One thing we should point out today, actually, we do use real weather within rFactor 2 through various special tools we have, and the track temperature 25 degrees and nice and sunny out there. So it's going to be A little tough on the tyres, really. It's a bit hotter than usual here in the UK, so will be interesting to see how those soft tyres fare up, really, because it's going to be really hot on the track.
Also, one driver that actually kind of disappoints me is Wopke Hoekstra in 11th place for a driver who we know that it can be very, very quick at times. Quite disappointing.
That's a fair point, but then again, when we see that it's so close over a second, it's all going to be down to the race and to your strategy and whether it all just falls correctly, really.
So Ben, let's talk a bit more about the cars, perhaps, because it is the warm-up and we have 5 minutes to kill. So let's see. So yes, these cars are technically branded as Renault, but tell us a bit more about them.
Yep, so it's a Zytec created 3.5 litre V8 engine that produces about 530 brake horsepower in something that doesn't weigh much at all. I don't have the weight figure to hand, but I guess around sort of 700-800 kilograms. So it's a lot of power going through it. Makes them good fun cars to drive. Very reliant on aero grip. We've got sort of big front and rear wings here. We're running the high downforce package for these cars. There are 3 downforce packages. We only have one available to every driver this season at every track, and that's the high downforce one. Going through a 6-speed sequential gearbox, Brembo carbon brakes, and a Dallara built chassis. So a nice, good spec car for our middle tier here at GPV. It's a bit of a challenge for the drivers, but they all have good fun with it and produce some great racing.
Yes, so we have a bit. We may talk for you for a lap here at Silverstone in these cars in a second. I just need to find a driver who we can.
Chris Shepherd, he's just coming out the final corner.
Yes, so let's go with Shepherd, and let's go on board with Shepherd, although he's batting a little bit. And coming down the start-finish straight, he comes into the first right-hander, which is basically full throttle. And going into the going left into the left, this could be a very good spot for overtaking right into the third right-hander, which is a bit like second gear, and going straight into basically what's a left-hand hairpin, going onto the first straight where we have DRS. These cars do indeed have DRS, which I hope you have mentioned. It was kind of away. But after the long straight, which is a possible overtaking zone, into a very fast left-hander, which sets you up onto the all start-finish straight. I'm terrible with corner names, so Ben,
you want me to take over? It's fine. So that's exiting Woodcote out onto the old pit straights. Another good overtaking opportunity here into Copse. This is pretty much flat in these cars, providing you can get your line right. Shepherd does quite exquisitely. And then it's into one of the most famous sections on the calendar. It's the Maggots, Beckett's, high commitment, high speed corners. Then into the long right-hander of Chapel. Get your exit right and come into the second DRS zone onto the Hangar Straights. Another great overtaking opportunity up ahead. Plenty of slipstreaming down here. I expect to see some aggressive defending as well. Into Stowe. It's about a 4th gear corner. Really relying on the wings around here. Shepherd goes a little wide onto the AstroTurf. Then it's into the final complex, into turn 16 Vale. Make sure you clip the apex, get it slowed down, and then the switch back through Club, back onto the new pit straight. Great little lap there from Chris Shepherd.
Well, we know who's going to be doing the laps this time around, because I am not going to be doing this again.
It's fine.
Just to let you know as well, we do have the compounds marked for the cars, and I think so. The yellows are the soft tires, and then whites are the hard tires.
Yep, so that's correct.
So you can see the compounds on the side walls, and that's always a good thing to be easily recognizable, and we can thank Pirelli for that.
I mean, they're totally not Pirelli tyres, but we can thank them for that, so it's fine. I know what you mean. They did start the whole process. Was it 2011 when they took over the F1 contract?
Yes, yes.
Yellow tyres are the soft. They're the faster compound, but they're going to wear a lot quicker, especially here with the high track temperature. And then your hard tyres, a lot slower, but will last a lot longer. And as we've mentioned, drivers have to use both of them. So we will see both on all the cars.
Yes, so I think this is, or I presume one race has a required pit stop and the other doesn't.
That's correct. So first race is a required pit stop, and usually we see one stop. We have seen a couple of drivers try and do a 2-stop, basically taking softs for those first 2 stints, thinking that they're a lot faster, and then use the mediums for 1 lap right at the end just to get them out of the way. And it hasn't always paid off. Always an interesting strategy, so I'll keep my eyes out for that one. But mainly it's a 1-stop, soft and medium deal. As we come to the end of warm-up, which is always handy.
Yes, and we are coming towards what may be the most exciting, or maybe the most chaotic time of the race.
Should be interesting.
Oh,
should we pick who we think's going to win? Because I think there's plenty out there who have a chance of winning it.
Oh, please go ahead. And as we have David Fidok mentioning Stefan for the race win.
Solid choice there.
It is a solid choice indeed. Ben?
Oof, tough one. I fancy actually Dino Paolini from P4. Ooh. I think if he gets his strategy right and makes the clean passes, he's shown good pace and but there's plenty there who can win it, but Dino Paolini for me. I'm
honestly split at the moment, but I think I'll vote for Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Font, solid choice, P2.
Yeah, it was between him and Alex for me. So we'll see how we do. We all have, to be honest, this is so good to be for 3 people to have 3 completely different opinions, because this
one of us will be right. It's fine.
And then suddenly Alex wins.
No, it's going to be really close though. When you've got the grid, down to P16 covered by a second, okay, regardless of grid penalties, it's going to be a really close race. Should be some really good action out there.
Right, and as we have Deltec team also congratulating Stefan in live chat, in the chat on the GPVWC live stream currently, and yes, we also they're also very quite happy for Johan Lindberg filling in for James tonight. So yes, he's a bit further back, isn't he? But
so
then again,
he didn't qualify, so he will be starting at back. He may be ahead of the back of the grid. We'll have to see how that works. But he didn't set a time in qualifying. Does give him free tyre choice though. So we'll see what he does.
That could be an advantage, to be fair, especially if he was thinking of going for a hard tyre at the start anyway. Although, isn't it always a bit of a risk going for a hard tyre at the start? It's one of those alternative attempts at possibly gaining places later on in the race. But then again, it's always a risky thing, because you have to actually overtake people at that point.
It's a risky move, and I have to say I haven't seen any of our leader group do it, so I don't know. We'll see.
And apparently, wow, somebody jumped in the last race, was it? From basically back of the grid to P11?
That was yesterday in FC Race 1. David Yunt started in the pit lane and managed to get up to right near the front after the first lap, just through clean driving. But we have moved over into the race session, which means everybody's gridding up. We just had the R-Factor man utter his traditional words that are so ingrained in many R-Factor players' minds. But as everybody grids up, Kacper, I'll leave it to you to go through the grid.
Well, we're gonna go for the grid in about 30 seconds when the drivers pull away for their formation lap. But yes, we can see a lot happen. Then again, we hope not to see a chaos.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in and just say I'm just looking at Johan Lindberg to see what tyres he comes out on. At the moment, they're set to mediums, but he's only got 5 seconds to get on the grid, so hopefully he gets out on time.
Yes, and just before we go, Matthew Allington also comments that Johan jumped from P30 to P12 in 6 corners in race 2 last night. So that's another one. As we are on the formation lap, and let's go through this starting order. We have Stefan Rouault on the pole, followed by Jeffrey Fournier in 2nd place, Alex Ziebel in 3rd, 4th place for Dino Paolini. Then Borja Milan, also a very fast driver. Dennis Jordan in 6th place, very good. Tobias Bolocek, maybe a little bit disappointing for the race winner from last time around. Dewey Tapper in 8th place, considering he did run out of fuel. That's very good place in qualifying or on the grid. Then we have Chris Shepard in 9th, Wopke Hoekstra in 10th, also a big name. Carlos Fernandez in 11th, Gerard Batalla in 12th, Antonio Kreljanovic in 13th, Tom van der Voort in 14th. In 15th, we have Rob Mason, 16th, Wesley Stefano, 17th, Terence Grech, who is maybe a little bit disappointing from what I've seen from him in Formula Challenge last year at the very least. With Eduard Batalla in 18th place. I'm not sure if they're related with Gerard. Jason Muscat in 19th. Oh, they are? Okay. Mike Fint in 20th. And Mike Strand in 21st. Aaron Yayovsky from 22nd. That's a little bit disappointing from Yayovsky to start from this far back, but I presume he didn't qualify.
So, yep, Yayovsky didn't set a time, but is on the grid, and Lindbergh is starting from pit lane.
And Lindbergh is starting from pit lane. I think Yayovsky actually had a penalty.
Yep, that'll be why then.
Yes, he didn't even bother to qualify because he, the same as Jason Muscat, had the back of the grid, but because he didn't even set a time, he is from 22nd.
And as the leading car just comes through Club, the last few corners now, just to mention, Batala, Strand, Yayovsky and Lindbergh all out on medium tyres. So they're your medium tyre runners, the rest on softs.
So basically back of the grid, they don't have anything to lose really. Muscat has so much pace that I presume he will be attempting to beat. He's gonna be attempting to beat everybody on the same tire as we are preparing for the race start. Last of the drivers are setting themselves onto the pit or onto the grid as we have for first light, second, third, fourth, fifth. And here we go, the start of the first race. As we have a bit of a mess in the back of the grid, hopefully we're going to go through the first corner without too much of an issue. Drivers going a little bit wide. No, that's just a lag. Everybody coming fairly okay, but we have a crash. We have a driver who couldn't make it quite through the second corner. Batalla. We do have one of the Batalla brothers, I presume?
Yep, it was a relatively clean start, to be fair, though. Fournier is holding on for dear life from Siebel, who was all over him through turn 3. Just dropped back a little further now. There's a little battle there for P6. Jordan up the inside of Tapper. Can he make it stick? I think he does. He's just got his nose in front as they come to the old pit straight. Otherwise, everything is relatively line astern.
Yes, I thought when we were going really quite scattered through the start that we're going to have a bit of more issues, but we only seen Gerard basically spin out. I didn't think he even picked up any damage, but that was very close to hitting the wall, and unluckily my R factor decided to lag a little bit, so it looked like a lot more drivers went wide than they actually did. So at the moment...
Rob Mason's just pulled off. That's at Beckett's, and he's lost a load of time. He's dropped all the way down to 22nd.
We also have 7th place battle between Hoekstra and Dewey Tapper. We had them side by side, and right behind them we have Tobias Bolocek and Chris Shepard also going side by side as another driver gets pulled wide. Actually, teammates and the team you're managing, in fact. But,
oh god, don't get me started on that one.
But yes,
P10, sorry. Shepard is defending around the outside from Polozek. He's going to try and get the inside into turn 1. Van der Voort is looking in the background. Well, please don't go 3 wide. Oh, it's 2 wide. Van der Voort's going to lose out contact between both Drakes as Herelevic slips down to P13, P14 even. Fernandez just managed to squeeze past. A little unclean there through turn 1.
Yes, so Drake being managed by yourself, I think this is a bit hairy for you at the moment, isn't it?
They're trying to give me a heart attack, I think. Yeah, battle for the leads as Ruout loses it to Fournier around the outside, the end of the Wellington straight there. Nice little move from Fournier round the outside into turn 6. Ruout's going to have to work quite a way to get that one back.
To be honest, Fournier was really close on the back of the Ruold for the entirety of the previous lap, and now he's going to be trying to pull away if he can, but who knows, possibly Ruled may come back to bite him and try to take back the lead. This is going to be fascinating stuff.
Whilst you're watching that P7, Tapper again defending from Hoekstra into Maggots and Beckett's. It's pretty much one car astern through here. There's not really two lines. And Hoekstra just struggling a little bit in the dirty air from Tapper there to hold on. Now watch down the straight, see if he gets the slipstream. DRS will become active at the end of the next lap.
Tapper went a bit wide, so Hoekstra is going to be on the very back of him, maybe going for a move, but no, he backs out of it just beforehand. Thinks better of it, because this corner indeed is ultra difficult to overtake and ultra dangerous.
Hronovic's got past Fernandez for P13, so Antonio Hronovic trying to regain a few positions after the contact with his teammate Van der Voort there, still sitting in P11. Meanwhile, battle at the front, 7 tenths in it across the line. Rualt just starting to slip back a little for Fournier, who's really trying to pedal down. Little lock up into turn 3 though.
Yeah, I'm seeing Fournier making small little mistakes, so possibly, even if he's pushing a bit more now, he may be losing his tires by the end before the pit stop. So, to be honest, we will have to see with Fournier, but at the moment he's doing a very good job out there, making his gap even larger. And at the moment, Ruled, I think, has more of an issue with Alex than with Jeffrey.
I tell you what, DRS is now active as we're on the 3rd lap, so expect to see that out of turns 5 and 14. That's your DRS zones for today. Meanwhile, they're relatively line astern at the front. Fournier now has a second gap over Rualt, and that's just enough to keep him outside of DRS range.
As we have a bit of a battle in the back between Jajowski and Strand, we have 3 cars basically side by side. That's
Quint, Jajowski and Strand, isn't it? Quint right in the middle into turn 9. Oh, they just make it 1 by 1. Now there's a 4th car joining as Rob Mason goes around the outside of Jajowski on his climb back up the field.
This may be for the back positions, but we have some very quick drivers right here. Jajowski is not exactly a slow driver at all.
Yeah, P7 still going. Hoekstra still keeps looking into Stowe. He's going to try and make a look now into Vale. He's a little far back. Thinks better of it.
Honestly, it's so many battles at the moment that I don't know where to look.
It's hard to look, isn't it? There's so much going on. Plenty of slipstreaming. I'm going to have another look again at the Strand Quint Mason battle at the moment. They're still all very close together. Mason may have a run on Quint here actually into turn 1. He's in the slipstream down the pit straight. That's P20 we're looking at. Quint just defends.
I suggest looking at Tapper and Hoekstra again, because they're so very close, going side by side on the straight. On the
Hoekstra may have him actually into turn 6. No. And Tapper goes wide.
And then behind them, they have to watch for Chris Shepherd, because he's not very slow either, and he's there waiting for a mistake from either of those drivers. And it's such a very close battle, and is Hoekstra going to try for an inside?
I think he may do into Cops. This is going to be brave. They're going too wide into Cops. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but they're okay. They get through it unscathed.
But then Shepherd side by side with Hoekstra coming into Maggots and Beckett. Are they seriously going to try this move?
Shepherd's just got through, but he's offline slightly, and he's going to have to slow down. There's a car off in front. That's Boyer Milan's gone right, and Hoekstra, almost hit him. Slid off as well. He's gone back into front of the track. Everybody gets through. That's a Drake. Is that a Drake round? I think that's Van der Voort round in avoidance. Jesus, that was a bit of a mess out there.
As we have Janovic actually overtaking Muscat on the outside for 9th place. Muscat already into 10th place with all this mess. Mind you, he started from the back of the grid. He is the championship leader. What?
You keep going. I'm just going to try and get a replay of what happened there.
Yeah, no, it just, to me, to be honest, it looked like one of the drivers just lost it when they seen Milan out there. But we have the first retirement of the race, by the way. Jajowski is out of this race.
So Milan lost it on downshift actually through turns 13, just after Beckett's, and that made the car oversteer. After that, he was a bit of a passenger really, and he starts sliding across. And then sort of rolls almost back into the track. Hoekstra follows him off, I think, in avoidance. And then as Milan rejoins, Van der Voort sort of has to scatter onto the grass, loses traction there and spins across. So a little messy there.
You know, this race is actually very exciting, and it actually made me raise my voice, which is crazy.
That's good. Meanwhile, at the front, Fournier now has a 2.1 second lead over Rout. He's absolutely flying there. Really putting the pedal down. Seabull P3.
You know who's also flying is Chris Shepard, who's on the very back end of Dowie Tapper now. Going through Magnus and Beckett. He nearly drove into the back of him. And is he going to have a better run on the straight? He did. Well, Tapper did hit the grass a little bit, but I think Shepard is a bit too far. But then in front, Tapper is also attempting to go after Jordan. So this is all a massive three-way battle, really. So one of those drivers makes a mistake. Like, Jordan goes a bit wide. We now have 3 cars, basically nose to tail. And it's going to be an amazing battle for a while to come, I'd say.
I tell you what, they catch up to Dino Paolini in 4th there in the Mazurek car. The problem is with these 3 is they're all getting DRS, so there's not much of a slipstream advantage down the straights, which is why we're seeing them hold station. It's really through the corners.
As we have the first of the pitters, we have Eduardo Batalla actually in on lap 5 of 30.
That's really early. I'm just going to check if it's damage. Doesn't look like it. He was on the mediums as well. He's just gone on to the softs, so bold call if he thinks he can get the softs to the end from now.
As we have Kacper attacking Jordan on the outside of the first straight. Is this the hangar straight, the new one? I can never remember.
That's
again.
Wellington.
Wellington. Okay.
Learn your track, Kacper.
Sorry.
But that's fine. He did try and go around the outside of turn 6, but was a bit offline, so couldn't really make it work. Now up on the run to Cops. Still line of stern. You're not really going to get a move through there. Oh, Tapper has a little bit of a moment.
But then again, so does Jordan. It looked like a little bit, maybe.
They're both getting loose on the inside curb into turn 9. Just it's a bit of a thing with these cars. They have a very stiff front end setup, which means when they ride the curbs, they just sort of lose tracking.
Oh, Kacper made a mistake in going on the grass. Shepard now really just behind him and already side by side. They're going to go into Stowe side by side. Are they? Oh, he's not backing out this time. Shepard going for a move. Contact. Kacper gets loose on the outside, still keeps going off track, still attempts to possibly make it stick. Shepard goes sideways into a corner and makes it stick. Kacper now losing a position and Shepard into 6th.
Tough one to call there. I think Shepard was sort of hanging on for dear life on the inside into Stowe and just understeered slightly wide. Interesting to see though, but when both had the DRS open, they were pretty much level on speed, suggesting they're running similar wing setup. So that's why Shepard had to sort of make that lunge into Stowe. Tapper is coming back at Shepard though through turn 4 as they head on to the Wellington straight.
So now we have Hoekstra being attacked by Milan side by side onto the Wellington straight.
Yep, both are recovering, aren't they? So that's 2 wide as they come into turn 6. And Hoekstra's going to go around the outside. Brilliant move. Made that stick really well.
Milan thought better of it, to be honest, because I think he was the one who was trying to make the run on the Hoekstra in the first place, it looked like.
Yeah, so great defense there then from Hoekstra. Meanwhile, your gap at the front now, 3 seconds. Fournier still pulling away.
On the other hand, I think the gap between the second and third actually has less.
Sorry, P5 into Maggots. Shepard was all over the inside curb and he's lost out trying to pass Jordan, and now Tapper's back on him.
Oh, are we going to see the same move made by Tapper that Shepard did? No, Shepard now attempting a possible move on Jordan because he had a bad exit onto the hangar straight. And on the outside, Shepard. Is he going to try something? No, there's nearly a contact between the two. And now Tapper on the inside, attempting a move side by side. Are they going to attempt a move into the chicane? He is trying to stick it on the outside, and he is going to have the inside.
Oh, there's a little contact
from Kacper.
Yeah, Tapper just makes it stick, and that all became because Shepard had the DRS down the hangar straight and caught up to Jordan, but got compromised, not being able to pass. And Tapper's gained from that. Brilliant move.
Absolutely amazing to make that stick on the outside of an entry into the final chicane, or the second to last, well, the last of the chicanes at the very least.
Definitely. I did just switch over to Tobias Politex for a second P9. He had, I think, got turn 1 wrong because he was all over the runoff.
Sorry, Kacper going on the outside of Jordan. Is he going to make it stick for Brooklands? He is.
Oh, that's going to be really close. He had to use a little bit of the run off the outside, but he's going to do it. And will Shepard follow through on that pass? But
not quite.
He jumps back in the slipstream into Cops.
Is Jordan going to attempt to move back? No, but Shepard is. So Jordan, by backing off, by not attempting to move, has actually compromised himself to Shepard, who then goes and Jordan actually has contact with the back end of Shepard. Both in fine, but Jordan loses 2 spots in a very short span of time.
Tapper's had a little bit of a moment up ahead, and he's slow out of turn 14 there through Chapel. I don't think Shepard's going to get too much of a run. He's going to get closer into Stowe. Maybe try and set him up out onto the pit straight.
Something that's also worth mentioning is Muscat. Jason Muscat is up to 9th place at the moment, and what we also have happening is Antonio Hrajanovic actually coming in to challenge Dennis Jordan for 7th place.
Yeah, there's now 4 people that's going to be in the battle for what is essentially P5 down to P8. Muscat's a little further away in P9, 2 seconds behind.
All that while my pick for the winner is making a 4-second gap to Stefan.
Fournier's just flying away, isn't he? 4 seconds now to the good. We're just on to our 9th lap.
It's like someone gave him wings.
It's definitely, yeah. Meanwhile, looking down, P15, Terence Grech heavily defending from Wesley Stefano in the second of the Hints cars. Stefano should have DRS onto the Wellington straight. Let's see, he's going to be in the slipstream up into turn 6. He's a bit far away though. Doesn't seem to have the top line speed on that Hints car, and he will stay behind there and just bide his time, I think, till he gets a little closer. He is being heavily chased though by Mike Quint in P17 in the Cosmo car, who's about half a second behind.
Of course, this battle for 15th place is actually a battle of for a point already.
Yep, it's a battle for 1 point, which it may not sound much, but that can mean a lot in terms of the championship towards the end of the season. I'm just going to look back up to P5 as Shepard gets ever closer back to Tapper through Stowe. Just not enough yet. He needs a good series of corners as Shepard runs a little wide through Stowe there.
As we actually have a battle for 12th place at the moment, Borja Milan is being attacked by Rob Mason, and Rob Mason makes it just at the end of
just about, but watch for Milan on the outside, the faster line through there, and he's now going to take the inside into Vale and holds the position. The problem with the inside into Stowe is it's just a bit too tight to hold any speed.
It is, and another thing is maybe those cars are set up in a completely different manner, because the closing speed by Rob Mason was incredible, even for DRS.
I mean, watch him now with the slipstream. He'd be a long way back to make a move into 3, but thinks better of it. But you can just see he's so much faster through the high-speed corners.
Yes. Also, right behind, we can also just about get a glimpse of Terence Grech having to really, really defend from Wesley Stefano at this point, and Quint is also not far back. As I'm mentioning that, Terence Grech is under attack into Brooklands on the inside. Wesley Stefano is attempting a move, but he's not quite able to stick it in there.
He's a bit too far away, isn't he? He's not quite on the line as well. Stefano just missing the apex slightly through Luffield there. Meanwhile, I'm looking at P7, and Antonio Hrajanovic was getting a little close to Jordan through the Brooklands Luffield complex. He's a little further away now through Magnuson Beckett's onto the run to the high straight. Antonio a bit wide there on the exit, but he will have DRS on the run up to Stowe. Oh, P5, Tapper being attacked by Shepard round the outside into Stowe. And contact, but holds onto it just. May have to have a look back at that one, I think.
Possibly, but Shepard is not giving up. That is a current battle for 5th place. This is some amazing stuff. What I'm also seeing, just quickly looking at the times, is Alex Siebel has actually dropped back quite a bit now from Stefan Riol. It's a second and a half of a difference. And something that's very interesting is that Dino Paolini seems to possibly be slightly closing in on Alex. And it's just over a second of a difference right now.
Yep, just over a second there between Siebel in P3 and Paolini in P4. Meanwhile, Tapper and Shepard still going at it as they come onto the Wellington straight. I did have a look back, and it was just a little bit of a lock-up from Tapper under brakes.
Shepard on the inside into Brooklands. Is he going to make it before the corner even begins?
Got that, surely.
Yes. There's a bit of contact still going on, but thankfully, bits can't fly off the front wings.
No, it was a good move from Shepard there. He covered off even any kind of retaliation from Tapper there. But now Tapper's got the slipstream, So we may just see this again for the next few corners.
I mean, we have seen them pass each other a couple times by now, and I don't think that this is going to go away anytime soon. But also behind, we need to watch Dennis Jordan being attacked by Antonio Hreljanovic. They're so very close, and Hreljanovic just getting that bit of a better run from Maggots and Beckett's, possibly.
A good run from Tapper as well. We're going to have to watch 2 battles from 1 into Stowe. Hreljanovic ran the outside of Jordan. Can he make it stick before Stowe? Yes, he does.
Oh.
That's P7 for the Drake driver there. Meanwhile, Shepherd hangs on from Tapper's attacks into Stowe.
This is some incredible stuff, and now Tapper is not just going to have to try and attempt to attack Chris Shepherd, but they're also going to have to watch for the Drake driver. This is so. This is getting really, really tense, and it's really surprising because the cars are nearly like magnets, trying to just drag everyone into battles. This is some great racing. So, Ben, I don't think you can be too unhappy at the moment with Antonio.
No, he's doing well. It's a good comeback there. I'm still looking at Shepherd Tapper, because Tapper just edges closer down the Wellington Straight into turn 6 there. But nothing doing. I was just about to say, actually, there's a 1.5 seconds covering P5 to P8 at the last split. So they're really sticking together in that sort of pack formation. It's almost a bit reminiscent of like IndyCar pack racing, because they keep drafting past each other down the straights.
Oh, as Quint just went alongside of Greg into the Brooklands and actually goes past. So
that's
Quint
P14,
is
isn't it? Yes. Yeah, P14. And meanwhile, Mason is defending from Boyer Milan for P12. Milan there on his comeback after sort of spinning out from about P4, I think, in the TG racing car. He's going to have to use the slipstream. He's going to lose a bit of downforce from Maggots and Beckett's, though, because of it. That dirty air generated by the aero from the car in front. Mason doesn't have the best of exits, and Milan should have DRS, so let's see if they do anything into Stowe.
Also, just in the meantime, we have lost the second driver of the day, and that's Wesley Stefano, after retiring after 10 laps. Nothing
doing there for Milan. He was a bit too far back on Mason. Meanwhile, P7, Hreljanovic is all over the back of Tapper now through turn 1 and 2. Will he make a move into 3? It's going to be a late lunge down the inside. Leaves his nose in. Oh, there's contact. Oh,
Hreljanovic actually spins out, but that was a very ambitious move, although Tapper did not exactly leave room there.
I think he was just a bit too far back. It was a bit of a dive bomb there.
He was, yes. And Wopke Hoekstra is attacking Dennis Jordan on the outside into Brooklyn. So we have seen that move work before, and Hoekstra makes it work again.
Watch the comeback though there from Jordan. No, he can't retaliate there. So that's Hoekstra's P7 now. I was just going to say on Antonio, he will fight back. He's been sort of the fastest of that bunch, but not good for his race.
But also, I think we need to keep on watching Hoekstra because he is going to be under heavy attack from Dennis Jordan.
You're totally right there. Jordan will have the slipstream and probably the DRS as they come over the detection zone there onto the hangar straight. I'm just watching Tapper up front, who's gone a little wide out of Chapel. And Jordan, he's a little far back from Hoekstra. He's going to have a bit of a slipstream and may look for a move later on around the lap.
Yes, I have a certain feeling, though, that Dennis Jordan is not quick enough, although we do have a battle for P10 between Tobias Polacek and Antonio Hreljanovic. He is very fast, and we have seen him being here only because of a mistake, and he goes on the outside of Vale, of the first corner.
Polacek went really wide there, and I think it's going to cost him because Hreljanovic comes straight up the inside into turn 18, and that's P10 for Antonio Hreljanovic, Drake driver there. Now watch Polacek to come back with a slipstream.
That was a great move, however, and Polacek will have to do a bit of a dive bomb if he wants to attack, and he does attempt one.
Yep,
but
fair play for the room being left, but he's now going to lose it because he's the outside into turn 3, and that's just not going to work.
But then again, slipstream and DRS for Polacek at this point. Is he going to be able to attack Hreljanovic on the outside? We have seen this move work, and he's already in front by Brooklands. But now, is Antonio going to be able to hold it together? He is, but now Polacek has the inside. But this is so interesting to see these cars being as fast on the outside, if not faster, than on the inside of the corner.
I think that what this is showing us is the difference in setup, because the cars that can hang it around the outside have that better aero grip. Because of the longer line, they can take more speed, use more of the aero. And I think it's quite plain to see that Tobias doesn't have his car set up in that way, and that's why he struggled to hang it around the outside.
As we have the leader going into the pit lane at this very moment.
That's early. That is early for a soft tyre, I'd say. I said P14, well, lap 14 or lap 15. It's he's just coming over to do lap 13 now. So a little early, I'd say. But if he's going for maybe an undercut, try and get some clear air and try and extend his gap, that may work.
To be honest, he had 6 seconds of a gap, so I don't think he's going to lose that on tyres just yet, really.
Well, let's see where it comes out. Our camera just asked if they have to use both compounds. Yes, they do, and you're correct actually, because Jeffrey Fournier has come out on softs. Now, is he going to do a 2-stop and pit right at the end for a medium time? Well, I mean, he has to actually, because if he's done softs in the first stint and he softs again, unless it's a glitch in terms of what's being shown, but live timing confirms it's soft tyres as well. So, an interesting move from the Epic Racing driver here. He does have some cars ahead as well, so let's see if this strategy plays out. I'm not sure it's the right one.
I don't think it's the right one either, but we definitely do need the two tires being used. It was also mentioned by the race director earlier on. So this definitely looks like either a mistake from Fournier, which I don't think is the case considering he is currently second in championship.
Yep, or P10, sorry, battle into Kops, and that's Hranovic defending from Polozek. Polozek looked to the outside through Kops there, turn 9, but couldn't make anything stick. There's a bit of a gap now through Magnussen Beckett.
Yes, Polozek definitely attacking here, and he seems to be a bit more stable through Magnussen Beckett, but is he going to be able to catch up to Antonio? I don't think so.
I think he's a little too far back, isn't he? Even with the DRS. He's got a bit of a run, but not going to be enough to make any move. Meanwhile, Shepard and Hoekstra in from 4th and 5th respectively, both trying to cover each other off. They're pretty close on track, trying to prevent each other trying to undercut. I'm just going to watch the tyres that they go on to. Shepard, let's see what he chooses.
But Fournier has already hit traffic. He has hit Jason Muscat, so he has to deal with him quickly, otherwise he's going to start losing time.
Right, okay, so Shepard stays on softs, exits P11. Hoekstra, P12, also stays on softs. Let's watch Antonio Hranovic, who followed them in from a little further back from about P10 he pitted in. Exits P17, also on softs. So what we are now seeing then is a 2-stop strategy for the majority of the guys.
It seems like...
apart from Tom van der Voort, who's pitted in from way far back and instead has gone the medium tyre. So he's going for a 1-stop. Maybe to gain back a lot of the time he lost from his spin earlier on. Try and get some places back that way.
That's also very possible. It's very interesting to see because, to be honest, you'd think that they would want to go for the medium tires at this point. But it looks like maybe some of the front runners know that they just cannot make it go as quick as the soft tires, and they will lose just so much time that it's actually quicker to pit in on the final lap or two for that fresh set of mediums than it is to drive an entire stint on medium.
Yeah, it makes Mr. Fournier's strategy that we did question when he came in, makes it look a lot more believable now that the rest are following him. So, fair play. This could be a good strategy call here to run the quicker tyre for a lot longer and then change right at the end.
Yes, and Muscat has been dealt with by Fournier already. It's a bit of... To be honest, dealing with Muscat on track is like a little bit of a... just this small little... nearly shove. Hey, I'm going to overtake you in the championship.
Rob Mason pits in from P10, P8 he was after the cycle. He's going on to medium tyres, so he's 1-stopping. Pitting in just as he comes onto his 16th lap. So he'll be able to do that, no issues. The problem is, how much time is he going to lose, and can he gain it back from the rest having to stop again?
So now, I'm kind of wondering about race 2 right now, because so we're seeing that the drivers are lasting about 15-16 laps on the softer tire. How many laps is the second race again?
It's 17 laps, so they're going to be hard push, but they have to take those soft tyres to the end. It makes no sense to pit. Whilst you're talking, actually, our cameraman, Mr. David Fiduk, did let us know the pit delta here is 20 seconds. And if you're on the medium tyre, you're losing 2 seconds a lap, roughly. So
that's
10 laps could make it back. I think a 2-stop may be the correct decision then, if that data is true.
I think that actually is the right decision in that case.
Dewey Tapper in from P4. Let's see what he does as he rounds the very tight pit in here onto the obviously newly developed Silverstone pit lane. Pulls into his box, up on the jacks, changing those tyres. Was on the softs, and he will stay on those softs. So he's 2-stopping as well. And let's see where he exits. I think he may get away with exiting in P9. There's a couple of cars coming around now. He may slip down. He's battling for exit. He's going to join the P9 battle now. Hoekstra defending from Shepherd into turn 3.
Oh,
it's happening again. It's happening again. The more battles.
To be fair, it was only a matter of time before these two came together again, considering they were so close before the pit stops. And I think it's going to take a lap before the Tapper actually heats up his tires. Anyway, as Shepherd makes a mistake, and now they're even closer.
Yep, Tapper is all over Shepherd here. Obviously on those fresher tyres now slightly. Obviously Shepherd has pitted, but Tappers are just a little fresher. And he's too far back to do anything through Cops and into Max and Beckett, so we'll try and set him up for the hanger straight.
Also, Greg being attempted to be overtaken by Carlos Fernandez around Cops. So that didn't actually work out in the end for Fernandez, but Greg under a lot of pressure.
So let's see who isn't to stop then. So Ruout, Siebel, and Paulini haven't stopped. Nor has Dennis Jordan, which makes Jeffrey Fournier the first of the pit stops.
Fernandez going on the inside of Greg, going into for battling for 14th place still, and he attempted to move into Stowe, but he couldn't quite make it. And as I'm talking, behind him is Krajanovic on the brand new tires.
Yep, getting closer, using that fresh rubber just to. Well, he's going to be lapping faster than them. I've just noticed Mike Quint is into the pit road for Cosmo in the 39 car, and that's a fresh set of medium tyres, so he's 1-stopping there. He's probably going to exit, I think it'll be P18.
Sorry, Tapper and Shepherd on the Wellington straight, and Tapper is getting a run on Shepherd, going side by side into Brooklands.
That's inside.
And he doesn't quite make a stick, but can he stick on the outside? We have seen this move work, but on more used tires. This time around, Shepherd does hold the inside well enough for Tapper to be behind, but there's still nose to tail.
Yep, Tapper trying to use all the slipstream through there, but that dirty air is going to start hurting his tyres. He's not going to have the aero grip that he once did. That's for P10, really close battle there. Just to make a point on Fournier, he is within 10 seconds of Stefan Ruout, our leader, and everybody in front of him has not pitted, so this is working brilliantly for the Epic Racing driver.
Very much looks like it as Tapper goes on the outside of Shepherd into Stowe. Can he make it before Stowe? He does indeed make it on.
Oh, he's drifting! Is he going to hold it? Oh, he does!
Just about. Just about makes it stick while drifting. This must be one of the most hairy overtakes this race. So,
sorry, I've just noticed Tom van der Voort has retired P21. It's showing up as an engine issue.
He has no front wing either. So, as Carlos Fernandez comes into pit. So, as we have a battle for the lead.
Yep, battle for the lead, and that is Alex Siebel has caught up to Stefan Ruout. Both haven't pitted yet. The depth they're going to those would suggest they're trying to one-stop, I guess. We're 19 laps in, so maybe Siebel all over the back of Ruout, trying to use that slipstream to close up into Maggots and Beckett. Obviously, he's going to lose a bit of grip here. needs to set him up with a DRS out of Hangar Straight, really. Needs a good exit out of Chapel, which he is an okay exit. On to the DRS now. He's a bit far away, though. 8/10 is the gap as they run up to Stowe.
So, Ben, here is a bit of a controversial question. The pre-2011 Silverstone or post-2011 Silverstone?
Good question. I'm going to say post-2011 Silverstone.
I'd actually be the same, to be honest.
More overtaking opportunity. That's
yes,
why.
And it just allows for that new section may have. There's one corner I absolutely despise, and that is basically turn 4, the hairpin, left-hand hairpin.
Yep, the loop. Yep.
But otherwise, every single corner is absolutely fantastic. I far prefer Brooklyn's in this setup because it allows for some amazing overtakes and amazing battles. As we have ruled under pressure from Alex Siebel onto the Wellington Straight, and they're going to be side by side into Brooklyn's, are they? Siebel on the outside. Is he trying to move for the provisional lead, or not for the lead currently? But he can't quite make it.
It's for lead on track. Yeah, but he couldn't make it stick around the outside. Siebel just understeering a little wide, and that's cost him now on the exit of Woodcote. Whilst you're talking, actually, I did just notice P17 Mike Quint had a little mistake out of Chapel, turn 14 before the Hangar Straight. Shot straight across the runoff on the outside, and that's not going to help his tyres at all.
As we have David Kacper make the fastest lap of the race on the fresh tyres. And somehow we missed Tapper overtaking Chris Shepherd.
Well, they're still going at it, aren't they? They're going to keep swapping for a long time. I don't think we've missed too much in terms of overall position there.
No.
What is interesting me is Fournier is still holding a 10-second gap to Ruout without pitting. And now is in the slipstream with Dennis Jordan for P4 on the run-up to Stowe. He's got the DRS, goes to the inside. Jordan tries to block him. Nothing doing there, though, and Fournier will go, thank you very much, up the inside into Stowe, using those fresher tyres to hold the racing line. And that's P4 for Fournier.
I think that's the reason exactly why Jeffrey didn't gain enough time on Stefan and Alex over the last lap. He was battling. But honestly, I think at this point, if Stefan and Alex are going to keep on battling, they're going to lose so much time that Jeffrey is just going to catch up to them. And at the moment, what we're seeing, I think, is Stefan Ruold challenging for the win because, in my opinion, they're going for a one-stopper.
Indeed. I've just noticed our camera has just let us know Boyer Milan has pitted, and he's currently P11, goes onto the medium tyres. And Siebel gets into the leads, and where does that happen? That must have happened...
Brooklands.
Yeah, went straight into Brooklands.
Wow, this is... You take your eye off of this battle for a second, and something will happen.
We miss it just like that.
Yes.
But you're totally right. Fournier needs 20 seconds.
Makes a mistake, by the way.
Yep, that is from P10, isn't it? He's had a little mistake,
P10,
falls away a bit from Tapper. Gap is a second there. But you're totally right. Fournier needs 20 seconds over this lead group because he has to make the other pit stop, and I can't see him doing it at the moment. We've got 9 or 10 laps to go. Is that Ruout's tyres going? Because he is slipping away from Siebel there, and Paolini's really caught up as Paolini dives into the pits.
That's interesting because it was the Ruold's tyres that were seemingly going, not Paolini's. Paolini trying the
undercut.
The undercut, really, but is it going to be enough on the harder compound? Or is the harder compound fast enough at this point to be able to overtake or do fastest lap times as Dennis Jordan pits in?
Ruout's times are down into 39.8, so a soft tyre now would be enough to go faster, and I think we could see a genuine undercut here. Dennis Jordan also in it, as you say. He goes onto the medium tyre, so does Dino Paolini, sorry. Yes, he does. He is on mediums, so it's one stops from them.
As Pelote comes right flying by Paolini, who just exits out of the pits, and I'd like to just take our attention to that battle for 5th place currently, which is Pelote, Paolini, Hoekstra, and then Tapper in there behind them as well. They're not too far away from each other, as Paolini actually lets Hoekstra go. Team orders quite obviously there.
So that makes sense. Hoekstra obviously being higher up in the standings, so Wait, no, he's not. No, it's okay. That doesn't really make sense at all. But it's all right. We'll let it go.
Hoekstra is on the softer tire. He may actually Hoekstra still needs to pit in. That's why.
That's why. Right. Okay. What did I notice whilst you were talking? Gerard Batala has pitted. He's P16 now on mediums. He was followed in by someone else. Terence Grek, who has also gone on to the medium tyres, now P18.
Dino Paolini's
Ruau in from second place. Siebel stays out. So now we see if how Fournier's game is going to play here.
By the way, Paolini's time on the hard tires, 140. He's losing time.
Right, so that's not paying off as much as we thought, unless Ruau has a slow entry exit into pit or a slow pit stop. Ruau on the medium tyres.
Or actually, that may not actually have been the lap yet. Sorry, it could have been Zen lap.
That's probably Zen lap. That's all right. Let's watch them out of pit because Ruau is exiting now, and he's just going to get ahead of Polotczek and Hoekstra.
Actually, now we're going to see the real pace of Paolini, but his first couple sectors weren't exactly fantastic on the hard tires from what I'm seeing. But they may have been just still getting up to temperature. But at the moment, ruled under heavy attack from Polotczek and Hoekstra.
Yep, under heavy attack. Muscat's also been in for a set of the medium tyres, as Ruau defends like crazy from Polotczek. And now Polotczek is having to defend himself from Hoekstra. That's P4. Hoekstra going to look to the outside into Cops. That's brave.
That is very brave.
And no, he can't. So Polotczek on the soft tyre, so is Hoekstra. They'll have to stop again, bear in mind. Ruau won't. Fournier does need to stop again, and he only has 10 seconds over Ruau. So this is playing out okay for Ruau at the moment, providing he doesn't lose loads of time.
Oh, this is going to be close. I feel that Jeffrey may have misplayed his cards and should have. Honestly, though, do you think he was able to keep his pace like he was going at it? He was 6 seconds in front without pitting in for another set of softs? Because I don't feel like that was a viable option. He was just going too quick.
I don't know. I think maybe he was going too quick to burn the tyres. Whoa, as P4 still, Polotczek really defending from Hoekstra into the final corner. Hoekstra had a look at the inside. I am noticing, though, Alex Siebel is still going around on the set of tyres he started the race with. So that's soft tyres. And, something's happened at P4. That is Hoekstra. He's passed into turn 3, but he's defending round the outside. Can't make that stick. Polotczek goes up the inside into 5 now onto the hanger straight.
Now who gets the DRS?
Who gets the DRS? Looks like Polotczek with that DRS and Hoekstra. They're equal into turn 6. And Polotczek's inside. Surely he's going to hold that. No. Hoekstra around the outside. Great move. Great move to defend.
Amazing stuff from Hoekstra.
Absolutely brilliant driving. Great bit of overtaking there. What I was saying before that, Siebel still out there on those soft tyres he started the race, and he is doing consistent 38.4s. I think he could go to the last lap and then change.
He's still going a second a lap faster than Nino Paolini.
I think there's genuine argument here that Siebel could one-stop this and just hang on to this. I know he comes in. He comes in. Why do I say that?
Well, he's going to one-stop it anyway.
He's still going to one-stop it, and he's going to have really fresh medium tyres. Let's see where this brings him out. Fournier is going to inherit the lead.
I should have voted Siebel for a win.
I think you should. My bet, Paolini is P7 as... Who was that just swapped? Tapper inside of Polotczek into Stowe. Tapper takes P5 again there. As Siebel jumps onto the medium tyres. God, there is so much happening.
Now the question is, when is Jeffrey actually going to come in from the current lead? Because he still has to pit in.
Has to be the final lap, surely. Has to get as much of a gap as possible. Siebel comes out P2 and has, well, that looks about 2 seconds, I'd say, over Ruau to P3.
Now the problem is with Fournier is that he may finish if it really is 20-second delta in 8th place. In 8th place, you're not guaranteed to be reverse grid, as we have a battle for P3 between Ruold and Hoekstra still. And Ruold in front of Hoekstra, they went side by side through Brooklands, and Hoekstra kind of struggling with grip.
No, what we need to do, well, what Ruat needs to do here, I'd say, is let the next 3 cars go because he's on medium tyres, but he's going to get the time back when Hoekstra, Tapper, and Polocek all have to stop again. They're all on soft tyres, Ruat's on the mediums or on the hard, sorry, and that's why he is losing so much time and having to defend. I think if I was him, I'd let them go and know that you're going to get it back in a pit stop later on.
But you know who's the biggest winner so far? Oh, we have a spinner!
Who's that? That's Hoekstra off!
That's Hoekstra spinning in Beckett's.
Oh dear, that's not good. He's down to P8 now, and those soft tyres are going to be a bit worse for wear.
Just a little bit, and R Factor 2 really penalizes you for this kind of misbehavior, let's put it that way. But I think the biggest winner, and I think the current chance for the win.
Sorry, Polocek's in. He's in for his second stop. So Polocek going for the medium tyres to go to the end. I would have thought he would have tried to go to like the last lap to make this viable.
Possibly.
Unless he wants... no, I don't really understand that at all, really.
No. But,
Shepard closing up on Paolini for P5.
But yeah, as I was trying to say that for about the millionth time now, Alex Siebel is the biggest winner, I think, out of this whole debacle, because I think at this point, Alex Siebel is easily going for a win.
I think you're right there. Ruat just isn't showing the pace that Siebel can on these medium tyres. Siebel on his first proper lap, really, that isn't an out lap. Ruat did a 38.7 last time around, so not bad pace on those medium tyres. Fournier, however, is only doing 37.8s up front. He's not gaining the gap he needs for that extra pit stop.
Dowie Tapper is attacking Ruat at this point, and Dowie Tapper doing amazing work, having the fastest lap of the race last time around, and he's going to attempt to move on Ruat, who's on the harder compound. Tapper still needs to pit in, mind you. But Tapper is going to attempt to move, possibly on the hanger straight at this point. Is he going to attempt a DRS move? Looks like it.
He will.
I think he's going to be close enough. Yes, he is on the outside to Stowe.
I wasn't happy with that. Ruat made 2 moves there on defence. Went to the outside first to try and break the slipstream, then moved straight over to the inside again to break that slipstream. Not the best driving there from Ruat. I think that could get looked at. Tapper really has to get past for his strategy to work here because he really needs that clear air just to pump in the really fast laps because he's got to stop again.
And just to disturb, or just another thing for a second, Dino Paolini is also under a heavy attack from Chris Shepard for 5th place, so that's another battle. As Tapper's actually overtakes Ruat into turn 3.
Right, now Tapper has to put the hammer down and get as much distance as he can as possible over the next 1 or 2 laps because he's got to come in again. So has Chris Shepard from P6, Wupke Hoekstra P7 also has to put in. Antonio Hrenovic, that's from P10, he's got to stop. And I think that's everybody who needs to stop again.
So at this point, it looks like Jeffrey Fournier is actually going to be coming out in 3rd place. He
could slip down to 5th or 6th because the gap is. It's going to be around 20 seconds, surely.
So as we have attack.
Yep, that's Shepard inside of Dino Paolini. That's a P5. As Paolini slips down to 7, Hoekstra is passed into the entrance of Maggots and Beckers.
That was a team play. Paolini just let Hoekstra go once Shepard got past. But now Hoekstra is going to possibly attempt to move on Shepard next lap. I'd say it's a possible.
He could set him up, I think. But remember, both have to pit again. So let's keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Fournier has 2 to go. As Jason Muscat retires from P11. What's happened there?
Oh no!
I think it's a disconnect. Looks like a disconnect. That is our championship leader has disconnected. That's not good at all.
Disaster. That is an absolute disaster for Jason Muscat. And what that will mean is we will have a change in the championship. And it will be, I think, Alex Siebel, if nothing else changes, who actually is going to lead the championship.
That would sound about right, I think, because Fournier just doesn't have enough of a gap here, I think, to make his second stop. They have to come in next time around, really. Hrenovic pitted for his final stop. He's got 2 laps to go. Fournier has 1.5 laps, really, to go, I think.
So just to quickly look at it in a calm down light, So Jeffrey Fournier has to pit in, and he has 3 drivers within 20 seconds behind him who are on hard tires. Although Dino Paolini has slipped to where he's in the danger zone at the moment, with being 19 seconds behind. So even though the top 7 drivers are within the margin where Jeffrey needs it, 3 of them still have to pit in, as Jeffrey Fournier actually pits in right now.
Right, so we've got to watch this. Fournier is going to be coming in. So is Shepard and Hoekstra. We expect them in as well. Try and say my words properly. Alex Siebel then should inherit the race lead, we think. Tapper's coming as well. Now, were we expecting Tapper in? We were. That's one I missed. So Tapper comes in.
Tapper, Shepard, Hoekstra are the ones in the top 10, and they're all in.
They're all in, because this is the final lap now, so Siebel's going to inherit the lead. Where is Fournier coming out? He's not going to be there. Will he hold on to P2? Right comes past, so no, he's going to be battling for P3 on this final lap.
And this will be a massive battle for I don't think Fournier has it, because he still has to warm up his tires.
Going to warm them up, but they're going to be fresher when they are up to temperature, so expect him to close in the second half of the lap.
But isn't this... is this the second to last or the last lap?
It's the last lap. It's the last lap.
I don't think he has... unless he can make a hero move into Stowe, I don't think Fournier is going to have it. Fournier definitely attacking, and he's already behind Fournier or Rule, as we have a battle for P8 actually.
P8, P9, sorry, yeah. That's Hoekstra up the inside of Shepard. They both just pitted onto the medium tyres, and Hoekstra's just going to hold it for P8. Well held. Well held indeed. But we've got to watch P2 now.
We have to watch P2 because Fournier is right behind from Maggots and Beckett, and he's setting himself up for a move on the hanger straight. Is he going to be able to make that move? I think he is. He's so very close. He made that perfect. He is on the outside. This is going to be a very difficult move, but he's already in front of Ruld and closes down the door before the corner even begins.
Cracking move. Siebel into the final corners to win this race.
Fournier is going to be the championship leader. Believe it or not, but Fournier with that move, I think, has just accomplished a move for the championship lead.
Yep, as Alex Siebel wins race 1 here, great drive with that one-stop strategy.
What an amazing race. We've seen it all year. Different strategies, as we still have more drivers coming in. Douwe Tapper just comes into 6th place. Great race from Douwe Tapper. But also Thomas Polocek, Wopke Hoekstra in 8th. 9th place for Chris Shepard. Chris Shepard was a bit down compared to what we would have thought he would be at, considering his pace. I thought he'd be closer to Douwe. But he did have a bit of an issue earlier, I presume. I can't remember. There was so much happening as Bora Milan comes in 10th.
So much action, wasn't there?
Antonio Hrdjanovic, who I think deserved higher, but he did make a few mistakes. In 11th. 12th for Edward Batalla. 13th for Rob Mason, 14th Mike Quint, 15th for Carlos Fernandez. Matt Strand is going to come in 16th, the first of the non-points finishers. Terz Grech is in 17th, quite disappointing. Johan Lindberg in 18th. And Jason Muscat is going to also finish the race a lap down, the only car lap down since Jared Batalla.
And Muscat did have the fastest lap though, so
Muscat did have the fastest lap.
For pure anger and speed for that final lap, I don't think he'll be too pleased with a disconnection.
I'll be honest, he now has 2 back of the grid starts after taking it with the championship lead into this race. So he's going to be very, very disappointed. But the top 4 drivers that are worth a mention, and to be honest, a lot of these drivers did some amazing racing. But Alex Siebel wins this one, followed by Jeffrey Fournier, Stefan Ruld, and Dino Paolini in top 4, with Dennis Jordan 5th and Douwe Tapper in 6th. So the top 6, what an amazing drive from all of them. And really, all the drivers doing some amazing work.
I think I need to sit down after that one. That was crazy. Brilliant action throughout the race. Great drive from Alex Siebel. Made that one-stop work just by pushing the soft tyres as long as possible, staying consistent on it. I've just noticed over on the Sim News stream of this, David Yunt has dropped us a comment saying there was 11 points between Siebel and Fournier and Siebel only catches up by 7 because of this result. So Fournier now becomes the total leader of Muscat's retirement.
Yes, that was that last move, wasn't it? That was 4 points for Fournier. And wow. This is going to be an amazing race next race.
I was about to say, we got to do this all over again. It's going to be brilliant.
Yes. So I'm just looking for the comments now. We have had a couple since I last checked. And Brett Metcalf is quite happy with our commentary, saying great commentary, great race, very clean.
Aw, thank you.
Indeed, it was fantastic. And it's, wow, what a way to get back into commentary, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was a cracking race to get back into it. Plenty of action, plenty of drama. And to be fair, plenty of clean racing as well. It was really good overtakes there. Great show of skill.
Also, we also have Jeffrey pointing. I'm not sure who he's directing it to, but saying noob. He may be.
I think that's his strategy. I think he wasn't too pleased with himself after his 2-stop didn't quite pay off.
Yeah, but to be honest, he did finish second, and we don't know what would happen if he didn't push as hard as he did in the first stint.
Yep, so, that is true. That is true, actually.
So I think, in all things considered, we had. I should have gone with Alex, but Jeffrey and I did say I'm split between Jeffrey and Alex before the race, and I was very right about it. Oh, what a race! So now, just as a thing for everybody, we have a reverse grid here at Supercup, and it's not for drivers not to have a kind of a complacency kind of thing where they I have gotten 10th place, I may stay here because I may get pole for the next race. A 10th place is a gamble because we have 6th to 10th place being randomly picked as for the reverse grid. So
shall I run you through the reverse
grid
contenders? That'd be helpful.
Please do.
So P6 in that race was Dewey Tapper. So he is probably the best off, regardless of what the number is. He will be starting within the top 5. P7 was Tobias Politex. P8 for Wupke Hoekstra. P9 for Chris Shepard, and rounding out your top 10 was Boyer Milan. So 6 to 10, they are the ones that could be drawn for the reverse grid, and should create some very interesting action for that second race.
Oh, definitely. Also, a few more comments from Jeffrey. We had apparently his engineer was racing tonight, and is still racing tonight. It is Shepard.
So not having that engineer has cost him in the strategy a little bit. There'll be some team discussions after that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's worth asking, actually, to everybody listening at home. Tell us who your driver of the race was for that one. Tell us who you thought did well, who you would give your driver of the race award to. And we'll do this after the second race as well.
We do generally monitor both broadcasts here at GPVWC and here at simnews.tv, if whatever you're watching. So we do. I do check GPVWC once in a while. It really depends on how much is happening on the track.
Yeah, so just drop us a comment. Tell us who you think is doing well, who you're rooting for, and we'll get that read out for you.
So, yes. Oh, this is going to be exciting now. Honestly, I have no idea who's going to win the next one. Last season, we have had one driver who we knew was challenging for the win in every race, essentially. But this time around, this is exciting.
I think that's been the beauty of this season so far. As we get our reverse grid number through, it's P9. So quite a big reverse grid for this one. Chris Shepard on pole then. So he shows some good pace, and if he can make the soft tyres, last well, yeah, that could be a really good one to watch. So I'll just run you through the grid then. So it'll be Chris Shepard on pole with Wupke Hoekstra lining up next to him in P2. Tobias Politex and Dewey Tapper lock out that second row with Dennis Jordan, Dino Paolini behind him. Then it's Stefan Ruout and Jeffrey Fournier on row 4. P9 for Alex Siebel, and then first of our non-reversers, P10 for Boyer Milan. He's going to be a little annoyed he missed out there. Then going down, it's 11th for Antonio Hrenovic, 12th for Eduard Batala, 13th for Rob Mason in the Epic Racing car, 14th for Mike Quint in the Cosmo. We saw him have a few mishaps in that race. Then it'll be Carlos Fernandez, P15, and Gerard Batala, P16. Then it's Matt Strand, P17, and Terence Grek, P18. Terence Grek, P19, and who am I missing there? No, Terence Grek, P18, Johan Lindberg, P19, Jason Muscat, P20. Then it's first of our sort of full retirees, Tom Vandervoort, P21, 22nd for Wesley Stefano, and Erhan Yayoski will round out the grid, P23.
So, with Shepard on pole, Jeffrey is going to have a bit of a funny one after the race with him.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a very fiery start to the race, isn't it? There's, Shepard, Hoekstra, Polotzek, Tapper, all up there, where they were having great battles throughout that race, and no reason that can't continue.
So, since we have 2.5 minutes, maybe we'll be able to fit in. Who was the driver of the race last time for you?
For me, it does actually have to be Alex Siebel for playing the one stop well.
It was perfect, wasn't it?
Exactly. I mean, everybody else blinked, went for a 2-stop, thinking they could get in some clear air, get the fast laps out on the soft tire, and it just didn't quite pay off. It was so close, just didn't quite pay off. Siebel didn't blink, didn't follow the rest of the crowd, stayed there on the one stop, got the soft tire to last as long as he needed it to, and executed a perfect one-stop strategy.
I can't believe how well he made those tires last. And what that shows us is he has even more life in the tire to take out of it this race to gain on pace. So I wouldn't count out Alex Siebel for another win, but it's going to be a tough job from 9th place.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to fight through the grid now. Obviously, we don't have any strategy in this race. This is a pure sprint race. Don't expect any pit stops. This is going to be soft tires to the end. All about passing on track now. But this race still holds the same amount of points. It's still as valuable as our feature race, so it's going to be plenty of movement at the front.
So Chris Shepard on pole with Wopke Hoekstra in 2nd place, and Douwe Tapper in 4th, and Polotzek in 3rd as well. I don't think that they will be easily overtaken either. So honestly, do you think that one of those 4 can win?
Yeah. I don't see why not. I'm going to say Douwe Tapper to win, I think. I'm quite fancying the 2nd row for my choices today. Douwe Tapper, I'm a big fan of the Zedit racing guys. I raced there last year in Formula Challenge. Tapper showed some great overtaking through that race, holding the outside lines through Brooklands and Stowell. So I'm going to say Douwe Tapper for the win.
You caught me out because I was about to say the same other first.
Got to choose someone else now.
Yeah, definitely. The driver he battled with would be an interesting choice. The current pole sitter, Chris Shepard, has also been showing some amazing driving, but we've also seen him do a mistake, which Douwe Tapper hasn't exactly, has he? Douwe Tapper actually did drive an amazing race himself. So
amazing race. He had a few loose moments, but no major mistakes.
But I am still going to go with Chris Shepard. So Chris Shepard for me on the winning bid.
Interesting.
This is going to be very, very interesting, and it would be very funny if Jeffrey's engineer won a race and he didn't. I think there will be some kind words by the end.
I think there'll be a few strong words in the Epic Racing camp if that was to happen. As warm-up is now finished, so anytime now we should head over into the race session.
So we also have our cameraman actually mentioned that he thinks that's going to be Wopke Hoekstra. So, because he was quicker than anyone else in clean air. Also,
Very cool.
Also, I just realized that our cameraman is not getting his credit on GPVWC stream, I don't think. I think David Francic is actually in the description.
This is probably the awkward moment where I've forgotten to edit.
Well,
so apologies, David.
Well, my and your names are there. It's just the cameras by David Francic.
That's my fault. It says it on the splash screen, so it's all fine. You get your credit, David. It's fine. But no, obviously, massive thank you to David for running the stream tonight, and to all our race directors, our DC, everybody who runs the league. We wouldn't we wouldn't be broadcasting a race if they weren't here. So, massive thanks to them.
Well,
as we head over into the race session.
So we have had an absolutely fantastic cracker of a race last time around, and here is another one. Just a few minutes afterwards, we're going for the sprint race. 17 laps, and we're going to be going for a formation lap in just about 45 seconds. Now, this is going to be exciting.
Get ready for some more frenetic passes. Plenty of slipstreaming. Plenty of crazy overtakes around the outside. The track is really rubbered in now. There's plenty of grip down. Soft tyres should get to the end. No big dramas. Still 25 degrees on the track, so we may see a little bit of tyre wear. But this is about all-out pace now.
So now we have another comment from Mike. I presume that's Mike Fint, saying, "Great stream, guys. Wish me luck."
Good luck to Mike Quint then for asking.
Yeah, he said P14 from P last, not bad as well. That's not bad at all. Well done on getting points.
It's points for Cosmo as well, who are at the bottom of the standings and do desperately need some points. So nice result there. As we head on to the formation lap.
And as we are on for the formation lap, I will run you down through this starting order again. It is the top 9 reverse order. So Chris Shepard starting from pole, Wopke Hoekstra alongside Tobias Polotzik and Dowie Tapper in 3rd and 4th respectively. 5th for Dennis Jordan and 6th for Dino Paolini. 7th for Stefan Ruolt, maybe attempting for a win. Who knows? He's going to have to make a good one out of this one. Jeffrey Fournier in 8th place, our current championship leader after the previous race. Alex Siebel in 9th place, going to be desperately fighting to try and overtake Fournier and possibly attempt for that lead in the championship. Borja Milan in 10th place alongside Alex Siebel. 11th place for Antonio Hreljanovic, shown some amazing pace last race. Unlucky for some mistakes and some misjudged opportunities. Edward Batalla in 12th place. 13th for Rob Mason, 14th for Mike Fint. 15th for Carlos Fernandez, with 16th for Matt Strand, 17th for Terence Grech, and 18th for Johan Lindberg. 19th for Ingard Batalla, 20th for Jason Muscat, who was the championship leader. Not so much now. He's going to have to do as much damage repair after his disconnect last race. Tom van der Voort in 21st, with 22nd for Wesley Stefano and 23rd for Erhan Yayovsky. All drivers are back on track, even the ones who disconnected early, which is absolutely fantastic to see.
Yep, good to see that we've got another strong field out there. Just to point out, the ambient temperature here at Silverstone has dropped by 2 degrees, now 23 degrees ambient. So hopefully the track will get a little cooler, which will be music to the ears of the drivers out there who want those soft tyres to last. Yes,
I don't think the track can actually get... in our Factor 2, I don't think it can actually get any lower.
Ah, that's disappointing. Okay, not music to the ears of the drivers then.
No, and to everyone who doesn't actually race too much, the track temperature is what really counts in race cars. The ambient temperature really only affects the radiators, and it will only really affect them if it was about 35 degrees right now, or maybe 40. Yeah. So we have drivers setting themselves up into their grid spots as the final driver is making his way through onto his grid slot right now and stopping there. So now we're going to have another set of lights come up. Still waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and off we go. Good start from Shepard. He's going to possibly keep it from Hoekstra, although Hoekstra just alongside had a little bit better start. And Hoekstra into the lead with Polotzik challenging as well. And this is going to be a bit hectic into turn 3. Touch between Shepard and Hoekstra, but nothing going wrong there. Shepard holds on to the 2nd place, or does he? Polotzik goes on the inside and actually overtakes him. Polotzik in 2nd place. We already have Hoekstra running away, as we have Tapper attacking Shepard. Shepard not having a great start, kind of losing it all over. As behind, we also have battles drivers going side by side, a bit more ballsy all over the place. Really is. Oh, as we have contact with Janovic, and I think it was Jason Muscat.
Yep.
But both drivers on the track, still fighting And we have Finn being attacked by Rob Mason.
I was about to say that was a really clean start for the first few corners. Little bit of contact into Luffield there between Hranovic and it looked like Edouard Batala actually. But everybody through, no major concerns as we look to P3 at the moment. Shepherd heavily defending from Tapper after slipping down from the lead.
Oh, Muscat goes by.
Shepherd's got the run actually on P2 on Polotzek. He's going to go to the outside up into Stowe. Side by side as they come into Stowe corner here. Can he make it hang around the outside? They're so close. I think he's going to do it. He's going to use all the runoff he can, and it's a perfect move there for P2.
Oh no! I just seen a comment on the the GPVWC YouTube. We have Jason's race gun from bad to worse. He has jumped the start.
Oh no! Whilst we look back towards P2, Shepherd still defending from Polotzek into turn 1. Polotzek having to defend himself from Tapper. Polotzek down the inside into 3. Gonna hang the car there on the inside. Now he's on the outside for 4 through the loop. That's not gonna work. And that may open him up to attack. Meanwhile, Fournier on Tapper. They're side by side through 5 onto the Wellington Straight. Let's watch these two battles then. So Shepherd having to defend from Polotzek, who's up the inside. Fournier's past Tapper before they even get to the corner. Great move using the slip chain. They spun round in the middle of the corner in turn 6. And
I was about to say how amazing it is that Fournier already was going up to P4. Now he's back down to P15 and P14. Dowie Tapper is far down as well. The contact definitely hurting both of them equally.
Right, Fournier defending now from Quint into turn 9. No, nothing is going to happen there. Battle behind Tapper. That's the 2 satellites side by side. You're brave there for a team. Van der Voort tries to follow them through there. Like 2 or 3 wide into maggots. Jesus Christ. All over the place. But I think they're all through safe and sound just about.
As we have a battle for P6. Borja Milan being overtaken on the outside by Stefan Ruold. This into Stowe, can he actually make it? Ruold backs down a little bit, goes wide, but he keeps on running. And he still makes it stick. Is he Vale?
Oh, they're so close. Milan's going to get that back. Just about.
What a attempt of a move, but Borja's defense was impeccable. Now Ruold going on the inside of turn 1. Can he make it stick? Through such a fast corner, he can, and now Siebo's behind. He's going to possibly attempt to move, although he's being moved upon.
It's 2 by 2 as they came through turn 3 there. Rout, Milan, Batala.
As Milan makes a mistake, he's going to be under attack from Siebo.
Yep, Rout goes round the outside of Milan. Now Siebel, can he get the drag? There's contact almost behind between Batala even and Hranovic. Trying to say my words there.
Oh, contact between...
That's Mason round the outside of Batala, couldn't make it stick. Now Batala's going to try and look at the inside of Hranovic. No, nothing doing there. Meanwhile, Jason Muscat has served his penalty for the jump start, and it's been a shocker for Zederic so far, P16 and P23.
What a shocker of a race, and not in a good way. But also, Wopke Hoekstra, 3 seconds clear of Chris Shepherd in first place. But Chris Shepherd is under a heavy attack from Polotzek.
Don't know where to look, do you? I mean, Shepherd. Oh, we've got a spin. Who's that slipping down? It's Ruau off, and that is.
And Finn.
That's.
No, not Finn. Sorry.
I will find out for you.
Batala.
Right. So have they come together? Let's have a look. I'll have a look on the replay. Ruaut's come through Chapel. Oh, he's just lost it. The rear end snapped from him. He's gone off, and I think someone's followed him off, possibly. I wonder if Rout maybe spun in reaction to something.
May have been in defense or something, yes.
Could have been, but it just...
Oh, battle for P12, Gerard Batala! Oh, Tapper contact!
Wow, 2 wide wasn't really going to work there. Now Batala makes a crazy rejoin and just tries to hold the line, but can't. Tapper through into P11 there.
That could nearly be considered a dangerous rejoin, as Ruold and Feint have a battle right behind for P13.
Great exit from Ruau. He's going to have the DRS now. Meanwhile, Carlos Fernandez has retired because of an accident. Maybe he was the one who went off. He's been hit off exit of turn 1 is what we're hearing from our cameraman, so not good there for the Multiforce driver. Ruel got past Quint into Brookfields there, using the DRS and slipstream to good effect.
Yes, Fernandez was definitely not going to go anywhere. He lost both his left-hand side wheels.
Right, Shepard having to defend P2. Palotze
Contact
into the entrance of Maggots. You do not want to have contact there.
Yeah, and I think they better. Yeah, they better be happy that you can't lose your wingless, just like Sebastian Vettel did there at Canadian Grand Prix there just the past weekend, because that was the exact same kind of a move.
Watch P4, Jordan's being closed in on by Paolini whilst Polotze drafts back up to Shepard. We could have a four-way
Mason under attack by Fournier, who does go by.
I think that could have been team orders there, both from the same team. Mason didn't put up much fight there. Makes sense though, Fournier is the faster driver tonight. As Tapper now drafts back up to Mason, so we could have a battle here for P10. I'm just keeping my eye up further up the grid as well.
Siebel needs to get a move on because Jeffrey Fournier is only 2 places behind, and at this rate, I don't think he's going to get his championship lead that easily.
Indeed, Tapper has closed right up to the back of Mason now into turn 3. They come up to the loop, turn 4. Tapper needs a good exit now onto the Wellington straight, and he will have the DRS. Mason will have the DRS off his teammate in front though, so that won't have too much of effect. All down to Slipstream then as they run up under the bridge into Brooklands. He feigns to the inside, too far back to make anything there.
As we have Strand and Greg fighting for P18, 17, and Greg has on the outside quite easily, okay. Not too much of a battle.
Oh, Strand's made a little bit of contact. He went too hot there into 7 and just regroups it up. What have you spotted?
Kacper and Mason P10 nose to tail.
Not into cops, no.
No.
Tapper has a little moment. That's the aero not going over the car because of the dirty air, and you just saw the rear end step out slightly. Made a brilliant correction.
I have bad news for you. We have another battle to really pay attention to because Siebel is on the very back end of Borat.
Right, he's gonna have DRS, isn't he, onto the hangar straight,
yes,
and the slipstream as well. Watch Milan. Will he defend to the inside? Stays to the middle. Oh, Siebel thought about it, didn't he?
Oh, he did, and I think he made a mistake by not going for it, to be honest.
All that is letting Antonio Hrelovic, the Drake driver in P8, slowly close up and bring along with him Fournier, Mason, and Tapper.
Where do you look for in a race like this, where you literally have battles in every single corner of the racetrack?
I literally don't know where to look. There's so much happening. Tapper is closing up to Mason now again through turn 1. Got that slipstream through 2. Will he make a move to the inside of 3? Thinks about it again. Oh, he's not too hot. Too hot. Locks up the front wheels and just avoids contact with Mason.
That's so close. And now let's see. For P8 and 9, Andrew Hryljanovic is being attacked by Fournier on the inside of Brooklyn.
Lets that go. Doesn't attack it.
He attacks on the outside, but doesn't quite have the grip.
I think Hrelovic just cost himself there. He did overreact a bit too much to Fournier being up the inside, and that's cost him any chance of running back. Mason is still defending from Tapper, doing a brilliant job. Tapper with the slipstream now. Surely he's not going to make a move into turn 9. Please don't. Let's not have some death in there. No, it's 1 by 1 as they go through cops. Now the run up to Maggots. Tapper is all over him. He looks to the inside into Maggots. They're going to go too wide. And no, that's not going to work. Mason regains P10.
Just to let you know, the top 4...
sorry. Hrelovic is off in P9. He went all the way off through Chapel, and that's cost him. Cost him a little bit of time there.
Just to let you know, the top and the 2nd to 5th place are so very close. This is crazy. But
Tapper's past Mason, but he's sliding through Stowe. Oh my word. Great move there to just hold it. Looked like he locked the front brakes again. He is really struggling with that, Tapper.
Good recovery drive, though, from Tapper so far. Although he did kind of cause that whole incident, it looked like.
But he's putting on a good recovery drive, salvaging something for Zederic here, who, they've not had the best drives in the second race.
No, not really. But also, Borja Milan under constant attack from Alex Siebel. Siebel is so close coming onto the Wellington straight.
Yep, he's going to have DRS. Watch him as he sits in the slipstream. He's going to start gaining now. Gaining that higher top speed inside. Surely he's got this into turn 6. Thank you very much. He's going to hold that easy as he does it.
That's good news for Siebel. He's definitely gaining points over Fournier in this case. Although Fournier, right there in his rearview mirrors, definitely Borja Milan already has to be probably very, very afraid for his 7th place currently. As we have another DNF, and luckily Matt Strand has left this race.
So that's 2 retirements now. We're looking now towards 14, 15, 16. That's Van der Voort, Quint, and Yoyoski. Yoyoski did try and look up the inside into Kops there on Quint. Wasn't really going to work, so he backed out. Now Quint has a little bit of a run on Van der Voort. Let's see how close he can stick through Maggots and Beckett's, the high downforce areas. Oh, he's had a massive slide, and that's not going to help his run. But then Van der Voort hasn't had the best of exits either, so he may make this back up with the DRS. Let's see. Will he make a move into Stowe? I think he's going to be a little too far back.
Alright, please keep an eye on this battle, and I'll just quickly check if there isn't anything else going on, because, to be honest, at this point it may. As there is an actual side-by-side battle between Muscat and Wesley Stefano.
That's 19-20, isn't it? And Stefano's got past now, so Wesley Stefano to P19.
Muscat went wide, so I think he gave that position back. But
there
now Muscat on the inside, and that surely has it.
Surely, yep, he does. That's over the start-finish straight. He's going to hold the inside into turn 1, so easy to done it for Jason Muscat there.
Oh, there was contact! Ruolt and Batala again!
Oh no! And watch Batala, he's coming back on track. He's going to filter right in front of Quint, and he's going to be a sitting duck, I feel, as they come onto the straight. Quint's going to... Is he going to look to the inside? Oh my... That's a crazy defence there from Batala. He's almost practically shoved Quint off the track. Quint slides across. That's... yeah, that'll be definitely one for the DC to look at. That was not good driving there from Gerard Batala.
Ooh, that's not the first time I've seen Ruold being involved in an accident, as Quint ends up in the gravel and retires.
Oh dear, that's not good for Cosmo. They needed the points, and another retirement there, not good. Gerard Batala carries on P13. He's now sat. Whilst we're talking, actually, our cameraman's just let us know Chris Shepherd, P2, heavily defending from Tobias Olsen and having to weave like crazy to defend there. I think a few people could be in the steward's office for excessive weaving.
Tobias Polacek, not Olsen.
Sorry, why did I say Olsen? I'm thinking of Super League. That's our day job. We'll ignore that. It's Tobias Polacek there for Evolution Motorsports. God, I'm getting my drivers confused up now. But that's a really close battle for P2. I'm going to keep my eye on P13 at the moment. Batala heavily defending from Erhan Yayovsky. A few other close battles as well. Grek defending from Ruout, who's looking for a bit of a resurgence after that contact with Batala.
So, you know what's the crazy thing, Ben?
Yes?
We're only halfway through this race.
My God! And Shepherd still defending with Polotset there. Dives to the inside to break that slipstream. And meanwhile, Hoekstra is just driving off into the lead, whilst Dennis Jordan has a good run now on Polotset. They are teammates, so will they hold station there?
P13-14, we've had a hit, and Yayovsky is off the track, recovering in Brooklands just barely safely. And behind him I see a Ruold side by side, and Greg in 16th place currently with Muscat. Also they're trying to make a move on Greg.
I've just looked that back, and it's Batala's done the same thing again. He's cut straight across the inside, and he's hit Yayovsky off, so not good from Batala, and I definitely think he'll be in the steward's office after this one.
Mike Fint has also just commented on the stream that that Batala did indeed run him off the track in his...
Sorry, whilst you're talking, Tapper's gone round the outside of Haranovich on the straight up to Stowe. He didn't even need a slipstream. He just opened the DRS, said thank you very much, round the outside. Dewey Tapper to P9, recovering after a poor start. Now
the question is, can Jeffrey Fournier get past Milan as well? This is quite crucial for the championship currently, to be honest.
Well, Fournier was 0.2 of a second faster that last lap. 38.0 placed 38.2 for Boyer Milan, so he is slowly closing up, and he's going to have DRS, going to have the slipstream. So let's see what he does up into Brooklands.
And this could be fantastic, but with all that, we also have a battle for second place, essentially. Well, third place specifically, but second place in general.
Yeah, battles everywhere. Fournier wasn't able to close up at the end of the Wellington Straight. He's sort of sitting about three-tenths of a second behind, just sitting in that buffer, biding his time, I feel. I'm just looking to see if any other close battles. Yovski's got past Batala finally. Eduard Batala, that is, not Gerard. So,
by the way, the second to fifth place, Chris Shepard to Dino Paolini. Last lap was only 1.4 seconds apart. This is a definite battle, and it's on for the second place, and nothing is sure here. As we have actually Dennis Jordan attacking Tobias Polocek, two teammates going at it. And Tobias Polocek does get his position lost to Dennis Jordan, who's going to attempt to move on Chris Shepard. Maybe it was a bit of a team play, attempting to see if Dennis Jordan can get by Chris Shepard.
Right, we've got a slipstreaming train. P14 down to 17. Who's that? That's Batala's just got past Yovski for P14. They're all over each other. Massive group here. Ruout's involved. Muscat in his resurgence back from a poor start is in there as well. Another one to watch as back up to the front. 3 and 4 is very close again, still between the Evolution drivers.
Also, the commentator from last year for a lot of the Supercup season, James Kirk, has actually made a comment that he thinks that it could be a race ban offense with so many repeated off-track.
Oh, there's contact! Who's that? Batala and Yovski. Yovski's sliding all over the place as if he's got a puncher. And Batala's blown his engine! He's blown his engine, he's on fire! Exit of turn 5, he pulls straight off, so did he double downshift or something? And there's someone else spinning off there as well. That's Ruout spun off at turn 6. Craziness going on here.
I'll tell you what happened to Batala in a sec. He was in 4th gear and suddenly went into 1st.
Ah, that's not good. That's really not good there for Batala. Ruout's issue was he was on the inside of Muscat and just understeered into the inside into Brooklyn's turn 6 and spun himself, so not good there.
As Paolini is currently in 5th place, attempting a possible move on Tobias Polocek. This is really, you take an eye off anybody here, and you'll see either a position change, a new battle brewing, or something else happening. But at this point in the race, Yayovsky also retires.
Retired, broken suspension, as I thought. He was crabbing all over the place.
So at this point, we have a battle for 3rd place between Dennis Jordan, Tobias Polocek, Dino Paolini. We have a battle for 6th place between Alex Siebel, Borja Milan, Jeffrey Fournier. Then we have a battle for 9th place between David Kacper and
sorry, P4, P5. Polocek went off out of turn 5 really slow, and Paolini passed him, just straight past him. Siebel's passed as well, Milan's passed, Fournier's going to get past him into turn 6. What happened there to Polocek?
That's good news for Siebel.
Oh, Polocek's put the power down on the grass on the exit of 4 and just got a little loose. All, just completely off the track, and he lost a load of time there.
What that also means is Dennis Jordan now has to defend from Dino Paolini or attempt to move on Chris Shepard, but Chris Shepard has actually run away to over a second because of all of those issues. But now we have a battle for P8.
That's P5 down to P8. They're all in a line. Someone spun up Polocek again. I think he's cooked his tyres after spinning the first time.
What's that? Because he's now down into P10 and trying to recover. He may even lose his place to Rob Mason, who's coming down the straight, although I think he may just about hold it.
Right, meanwhile, P5, Siebel is heavily defending from Borja Milan as they come up into Vale and into Club. Nothing doing there, though. There's no opportunity to pass there, really.
Siebel will definitely not want either Milan to lose the place to Fournier, nor Fournier attempting to make a move on Siebel at any point later on. Siebel will definitely try to catch up to Dino Paolini, but I feel like the pace of all the drivers at the moment is so close.
It's very close pace, actually, because Hoekstra is not pulling away from Shepard now, but the gap's holding steady at 4 seconds. Not enough for it to close up with only about 5 laps to go, but just sitting pretty about 4 seconds, that gap between 1st and 2nd.
I'll give you the top 6 drivers' times right now. They're all 1:38 last lap around, and they're 1:51, 1:33, 5. I'm just gonna give you the 10s: 5, 3, 4, and 3. So they're all within half a second of each other. It's amazing stuff. As Siebel is under attack from Borja Milan for P5.
Yeah, that's P5. Siebel heavily defending through Maggots and Beckett's. Milan holding the line a little better, but he's lost a bit of speed through that second part of the complex.
Is Fornier going to try an attempt to move on Borja Milan, because Milan is so very close now.
Watch, both are going to have DRS, so it's pure slipstream now. Fournier, he's just too far back to make any kind of move because they both equalised each other with that DRS.
Yes, they just don't have enough aero to lose with slipstream in that state. Also, here is something interesting for all of you. We mostly recognize DRS as a little winglet opening up, as we have a battle for P6, still Borja Milan being attacked into T1. Is Fournier going to attempt to move into T3, into turn 3?
He may go for a lunge into 3 here.
He is.
Yes, he's going to go for it. Can he make it stick? Contact. They're rubbing on each other. And Milan now has the inside into 4. So now let's watch down the Wellington straight.
I think Fournier actually has this. He has the DRS. Can he capitalize on it? No, not quite. So, on the outside of Brooklyn's, no, not quite making it.
It's not going to work at all. Stefan Ruot's retired, that's a DNF. I'm not sure why. I'll go and have a look at that.
But here's a little bit of a fun fact for you. These cars are actually quite a bit different to something like we know from Formula 1 or from from DTM, if you watch that as well. DRS here is not a flap opening up. It's a flap that closes down the rear wing, the 2 rear wing elements. There we go. Thank you for.
That's right.
Which actually makes the entire wing stall and allows them to have DRS. It's a very interesting system, and not at all how you think that aerodynamics work if you're not really interested in it. I didn't know that until I really dropped them in R Factor 2, which is interesting enough. But
the invisible science of aero.
Exactly. Also, I think I'm gonna start losing my voice by the end of this race because this is insane.
It's worth it, mate. It's worth it. We've got a battle for P8. Tapper is starting to defend from Antonio Hrelovic, who's slowly trying to close up. That's P8 there. Also looking to P3 now. Paolini is back up with Dennis Jordan as they come into turn 3 into Village Corner. Nothing doing there, though.
No, it's always a bit difficult, and we've seen that there are a few corners specifically that drivers like to overtake. And turn 3 and 4 is kind of a... And Balfour in 3rd place currently. Dino Paolini getting a run on Dennis Jordan. Can he actually make it stick on the inside of Brooklyn's? Not quite. He is just not quite confident on the brakes and not deciding for the lunge. Dennis Jordan just this tiny bit too confident. Whoopie Hoekstrand up in the front. We completely forgot about him, I think.
He's been driving a great race so far, just pumping in consistent times. Constant 38.2s, 38.3s. Holding a 4-second gap to Chris Shepherd, doing everything he needs now with a few laps to go.
He doesn't need to do much more, and I think has been controlling the gap for the since Basie lap, probably 3 or 4. It's a fantastic race from the WTF1 driver.
You mean Hints Racing? No, WTF1?
Oh, sorry, no, I'm looking at...
You made up a team!
I'm sorry! No, well...
You mean Mazurek Racing?
Mazurek Racing, yeah, I'm looking at Chris Shepherd, sorry.
Yeah, that's Hints Motorsport, sponsored by WTF1.
Yes, sorry, I'm absolutely crap. I'm terribly sorry.
You've lost your mind, haven't you? Because
I have.
Racing.
I'm also sick,
P11.
okay. P11, as we have Rob Mason attacking on the outside of Tom van der Voort. And yep. Tom van der Voort actually keeping it on the inside. Can he do it into Vale? He does.
So Mason just hit the brakes a little too much there. I think he's a bit wary of going too wide through Vale, and that's cost him the position. But he will have the slipstream up into 3, so let's see what he does.
But yes, so Mazurek Racing driver is leading. Then we do... So we have 3 different teams on the top 3 spots as well, which is quite good to see. But Mazurek having, I think, the best race as a team at the moment, holding on to 1st and 4th. Or sorry, the 1st and 4th, yeah.
1st and 4th, Paolini is still all over the back of Jordan. 2 laps to go here, so Let's see if Paulina can get past. He's going to need to close up a bit more though. Just hovering about 3 or 4 tenths behind.
And by the way, James Cook has told me, I recommend a lot of energy drink in the morning. How do you think I lasted 3.5 years? I can tell you that it's tough. I tend to drink 2 or 3 coffees throughout the day, and it's still not enough. So
coffee is the best. There will be plenty that consumed tomorrow. P11 is still on. Van der Voort is not pulling away from Mason here. Mason just sitting in that slipstream. Something we've seen time and again tonight. Really just sort of hovering in that slipstream to stay in touch. And Paolini is still sitting station, about 3 tenths behind for Dennis Jordan there for that P3 as we come on to the final lap.
Wow, to think that this is the final lap. Oh, I think it's pretty good for sanity, for my voice, and for everyone's nerves to really finally have this race over within a lap, as I've seen Tobias Polosek actually making a mess of the last corner. So Polosek in 10th place currently. Hryljanovic actually not doing too badly in P9 currently, and now Kacper after a good recovery in 8th.
Gotta watch P and 4, 3 and 4 now. They are the closest, and Paolini does have the DRS. He's just too far behind though to do anything on Dennis Jordan into turn 6 there into Brooklands. Really he's got to set himself up now for the hanger straight. I think that's been his best move towards the end of the lap.
Dennis Jordan, that Evolution motorsport car is actually very, very fast in a straight line, I'd say, and very confident on the brakes, which allows him to just not be challenged.
Yep, he's been consistently fast in a straight line, 280 kilometers an hour, sort of the average he's doing in that top speed area. So really good speeds compared to 279s, 278s from others.
So at this point...
Oh, Paolini's gone wide as they come onto the hanger straight. I don't know if that's going to compromise him.
Are we going to have Siebel on their attack from Milan as well? I don't think he's quite close enough, but he's going to make a move regardless. No, he isn't. No, he can't.
As Hoekstra comes through the last few corners to cross the line.
Wopke Hoekstra is going to be our winner, number 2 today. What a race. Fantastic racing, as our cameraman David Fidok has just mentioned to us in a whisper. It was his choice indeed who has won the race, and absolutely what a win that was. Perfect race from the first corner until the end of the race. Chris Shepherd, what a race as well for a second place finisher, and he has shown some great stuff in race 1 and 2. P3 for Dennis Jordan, Dino Paolini coming 4th. 5th for Alex Ziebel, who will be very happy because I think, if I'm not too mistaken, he'll be challenging or possibly in the lead of the championship at this point. We have Borja Milan in 6th place, Jeffrey Fournier in 7th. 8th place for Dow Tapper with great recovery drive after the mistake he made earlier on. Antonio Hryljanovic could have been better as well, but in 9th place is not bad at all. Tobias Polosek, he did have a bad first few laps with also losing a lot of place, but a good recovery drive, 10th place. Tom van der Voort in 11th place. Good drive from Drake driver. Rob Mason in 12th place. Justin Muscat in 13th place after starting on the back of the grid due to his disconnect in the previous race. Good recovery, even with was it a drive-through penalty or a stop and go?
It was it speed in the pit lane, so drive-through probably.
Well, it was a jump start.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, why did I say speed? You know what I mean. But anyway,
yes.
Brilliant race. Absolutely brilliant race to watch. Wopke Hoekstra dominated that from the first corner. Just drove his race, consistent lap times. Perfect. Shepherd did really well to hang on to 2nd there. Jordan hang on to P3 as well from Paolini. Another good result. And Alex Siebel, P5 up from P9 reverse. Good, solid position for him when we consider the championship standings. So,
honestly,
some really good drives in there.
Honestly, I feel for Jeffrey Fournier. I don't think he was exactly at fault in his incident with Dowie Tapper earlier on in the race, and he has indeed unluckily lost a possible challenge for the podium because he was in the 4th. He was already in 4th place as he was basically spun around. So that's going to be one to look into by the disciplinary committee, I think.
Yep, I think the stewards will be a little busy after this one, after a few questionable moves. But no, some brilliant racing there. And just highlights how great a track Silverstone is for racing.
So I think that it was a fantastic race regardless. It was some fantastic driving from a lot of the drivers, but we've also seen some quite questionable moves. So we're going to have to stay tuned for that for the next time around in terms of penalties. But do we have any interviews we could do?
We do have a few. I am sort of struggling to move them in, so I think we may need someone with higher power to move them in, which our cameraman will sort out for us. But yeah, brilliant race, and we have some people moving in now, which is good. So Whoopke Hoekstra is here, our race 2 winner.
So Whoopke Hoekstra, you're going to be our first. Actually, we also have Chris Shepard. So if somebody can actually drag him in, waiting for an interview, could we do that, please? Thank you. So I think we may as well start with the interview. Whoopke Hoekstra, what an amazing second race.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, I didn't expect it. I kept spinning in the Magatsam pit section, so I was actually happy that I could get second place on this for race 2, but I was still really scared on that corner. So happy I didn't spin there.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, didn't you make a mistake in race 1? Or was that an induced spin? I can't remember exactly. There was so much happening. It was Ben, can we recall at all what we've seen?
I can't remember. There's so much that happened. But my question to you, Wopke, obviously, brilliant drive. How did the tyres feel towards the end of that? Obviously, it was a little longer than some people were taking the soft tyres in race 1. So, how did it feel?
I was really pushing them, so the front left especially wasn't too great, but all in all it was all right. And I only did 15 laps in race 1, but that was mainly because the hard tires were so slow that we really wanted to race as many laps as we could on the soft tires and push them to the limit without having to worry about the tire wear.
Yeah, what I found interesting is that some drivers pitted on lap, I think it was Jeffrey Fournier pitting on lap 14 in the first race. So, but then again, we've also seen these tires last for basically the entire race on the race winner of race 1, which was also quite amazing. But with that said, I'd like to also ask Chris Shepard a couple questions.
Hiya.
How are you? And great second place in second race, but also some amazing battling between you and Dowie Tapper in the first race. Talk us through some of that battle.
God, there was so many. I lost track, to be honest. It's like after the race, I just said thanks to whoever it was. I had so many battles in the first race. Not a great quali, to be honest. But I think I was 9th, 10th in quali. Managed to work my way up to 5th, or maybe a bit of fuel difference played a part, but I was happy to have some great battles, But ultimately, we had the wrong strategy. We done 2-stop, went soft, and then just 1 lap at the end on the hards. But yeah, it turned out that the mediums were a lot quicker. The hard tyres, they were a lot quicker than what we thought. I hadn't even run a single lap on the hard tyres until that lap live in the race. So yeah. You live and learn. You live and learn.
Yeah, we have seen that it was definitely it was to a degree a viable option, but I think in all things considered, it was the slower option. But also, just as a quick thing, I've seen in the comments, Dowie Tapper has actually admitted that he takes the blame for that incident with Jeffrey Fournier. But also, what I've seen was that basically you left Jeffrey without a race engineer, Chris.
Yeah, we was discussing, we was talking throughout, but we decided beforehand to just stick to the strategy that he decided. He called the strategy, to be honest. Okay. And that was it. I don't know if there's any confusion because I remember the last race, I was a team boss. Is that what you're thinking? Maybe. I'm not.
That wouldn't be us.
Not yet, anyway.
No. Because there was people were saying that last race, but I'm not. No, I'm just a friend. We just raced together.
No, we weren't here last race.
Right. But I didn't. Maybe he was in the chat or something.
Possibly, yes. No, still fantastic race, and congratulations on P2 in race 2. That was a really good pace, actually.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I got initially off the line. I was okay, but then it was second gear change was poor, and I just got gobbled up. Ended up going down to third, and just spent a couple of laps fighting with Tobias, I think it was. And Woopke just pulled away, pulled a 4-second gap, and then it was nice to see though that once I got past and I managed to gap the DRS zone from the guys behind it, I could just basically keep the pace. It was the timing screen was 3.9, 4.3.9, 4.1. So it was nice. I'm happy with my first outing in these cars.
So with that said, I think we may be starting to wrap things up, Ben.
Yep. Let's.
I'd like to first ask both our guests here. Do you have any final thoughts about the race or anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say thanks because the racing was great. Everyone left room whenever I went for moves. Everyone just left the room. Just left the required room. There was minimal contact. It was just really nice.
Yeah, I can just add on to that. It's really amazing racing here today, and I have to also say good job to Chris. First time in the cars, and he's doing such a good job. He's so quick. It's just amazing, mate. And I had a good race in both races, and thanks everyone for doing that.
Absolutely, congratulations!
Celebrate.
Congratulations. So now, just as we're starting to head off, I'd like to just just say a few things. We have indeed taken on the broadcasting for this as Sinews.tv. And we do also have a show just purely about Supercup, which analyzes it to the fullest extent every week, and that should be up next week someday.
So that'll be next Wednesday, and they do a lot better job than us in the commentary of sort of pointing and shouting at things. So go and check out the Supercup show here on Sinews.tv channel if you want to have a look at that, and you can follow us on Facebook as well, Sinews.tv. Keep up to date with everything, and I guess me, Kacper, and David will be back for Hungary next round.
Yes, we'll definitely be back the next round. That was me, Kacper Kołodziejczyk, with Ben Willis and David Fidok on the cameras. It was a pleasure to have you all, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye!